Hi, everyone, and welcome to Andromeda Adventures for another episode of Endara the Second Age. We are on episode 15. I can't believe it. Can you guys?
Not really.
Maybe.
Oh, you
Time
sound
has
so
flown.
enthusiastic.
I go by evidence, and the number says 15, so I believe it.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome. I did want to take a moment for the first announcement that we are officially going to be starting a Star Trek Adventure stream. We've gotten together with a couple of cast members from Mythical Family. They're great. Please go check them out. When they jump into chat later on tonight, I'm going to ask them to drop a link. But they're amazing. They do some great shows. They've got some great content, and the people we're working with from there are just awesome. We really got a great vibe going. And additionally, our friends here from Endara, Nick and James, will be joining us for that. And we're currently in sort of pre-production, testing out characters, learning the mechanics of the system, kind of deciding on a direction. But I'm really excited for it. Hopefully you guys will be too, and we'll let you know more information as it becomes available. Other than that, I just wanted to take a moment, since we're on episode 15 and we've been a while, we've been growing a bit, to go around and just reintroduce everybody and give you guys a chance to tell the audience a little bit about yourselves. You can let them know, let them know who they're watching and where you guys are coming in. So tell us a little bit about how you got into role-playing and what you're looking forward to with the stream, and just a little bit about yourselves. Nick, why don't we start with you?
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Nicholas Campbell Sarametis. I'm a professor of political science at Columbia. I got into role-playing when I was 13 years old in Denmark, trying to find friends. We all met at a youth school program, as they call it, and just, nerded out, and it, as one does, started hanging out in each other's basements, doing satanic rituals, playing D&D, the works. So that's about 18 years roleplay experience. I'm loving the stream, excited to be here. This is my cat, Aurora. Say hi, Aurora.
Hi,
and
Aurora.
That's all about me.
All right, James.
Okay. So yeah, I probably got into role-playing games probably around the same time, about 13 years old, thereabouts. Played a whole mix of games: Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer, some D&D, some Top Secret, Paranoia. Played a little bit into college and then stopped. Although I had done a bit of live action role playing, which was a lot of fun before that, so that was cool. And then during the pandemic, my company, in an attempt to try and sort of keep the teams connected and doing social things, they hired some professional DMs and provided that as a way for keeping the teams together, and we all started role playing again. And after the pandemic and that dried up, I was out looking for a professional DM seems like a really good idea, and I went on to start playing and found Frosty, and have been playing her games ever since, and having a blast doing so.
All right, David.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm David. I've been role playing for about close to 20 years now. I started in college, and started with World of Darkness, and over the years, I lived abroad for a couple of years and did a lot of role playing then. Ended up doing a lot of DMing over the years, especially D&D, Dark Heresy, Call of Cthulhu were my mainstays. And then I wanted to game some more. So like James, I was looking for a DM, went on to start playing, found Frosty. And then when she was like, "Hey, do you want to do a stream?" I was like, "Hell yeah." So yeah, here I am. And that's my basics. Yeah. I live currently in Massachusetts. Recently moved here for a new job, and yeah.
Nice. Evan, you're up.
Hello, my name is Evan. I've been to role-playing games for just over a year now. I had always wanted to try it, but never really had an outlet to until I decided to like, you know what, there's got to be a way to play online. So I went and looked and started playing games and found Frosty's game and joined. I haven't looked back since. It's been a miraculous change in my life. It's been great. It's really helped me with some social issues I've had and such. So yeah. And so my first game again was with somebody else. That game fell apart in 2 months. And then I found Frosty's game, like this one actually stuck. It was great. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you. How about you, Kovac?
So yeah, hello. I'm yeah, I'm Kovac. God, I've been playing role-playing games for probably in the realm of like 7 years. Started played D&D a few times here and there. Ended up starting a board game club and sort of played for a while until COVID hit. And I think right around the end of COVID, I think was when I started playing with you, Frosty.
Right when it
I
started,
can never
right when
remember.
it started, right when COVID
Was
started.
it when it started?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You were one of my first
So
players when I started running online.
yeah, I can never tell how long I've been playing with Frosty because it's like either it's been a year, it's been 2 years, it's been I don't know. It's been a great experience. I've really enjoyed it. So
3 years actually. This
3 years.
February, 3 years.
That's
Holy
because
cow.
nobody can measure time during COVID.
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it like disappeared.
It really did.
I swear it was just yesterday when I was like, oh, it's like the first year of like playing with Frosty. Like I swear that was yesterday. Now it's 3.
That's why I still tell everyone I'm 28.
So, hi everybody. I'm Frosty, your friendly neighborhood GM at Andromeda Adventures. I've been role playing since I was 12. First game I started playing was Cyberpunk 2020. I fell in love with it. I tried D&D, AD&D, Palladium, Rifts, branched out there into World of Darkness, and just picked up and tried every system I could. I've been GMing since I think I was 15. Yeah, GMing since I was 15, and it's been a passion of mine. I always wanted to be a storyteller. My teachers used to say, well, I'd ask questions whenever we got a writing project. Can we do this, or how do you do this, or can I do this for that story? And they were like, you're going to be a writer. You're going to be a writer. And so I've kind of translated that into this. But we've all mentioned it, so I will prompt it. We are not sponsored by them, but please go check out startplaying.games. They're wonderful. You can find GMs for any game that you're looking for. D&D, Call of Cthulhu, Cyberpunk, Star Wars, Star Trek, anything. It's amazing on there. You can look me up, Sarah Frosty, and join any games. Speaking of which, Nick, you are currently running a game set in Endara in a particular area of the world. Would you like to invite any of our viewers to join that?
Sure. If anybody is interested, I'm running currently a free game, actually, set in Ul'dah, the undead continent to the south, land of harsh deserts, untamed raw magic. Basically, think of the campaign as it's been going as a bit of a mix of Mad Max Fury Road, The Walking Dead, Fallout, and D&D. And Evan here is in the game, thoroughly enjoys it, is learning the perils and joys of parenting a super intelligent 3-week-old child with psychic powers. So we're all having fun, and anybody who is on the server and interested would be welcome to join. It's Sundays at 4-ish. We're still flexible with time.
Yeah.
So.
And then while we're queuing up that intro, Nick, why don't you grab the Discord link and I think drop it in case anybody is interested in joining one of the games. And with that, I think we'll cue the intro and get started. All right, and we're back. So, Westora, will you catch the audience up on what happened last week?
Sure. Well, we were at the house, and who else should show up but Jill, wanting to talk to us. Brought us some books. A book on like the Fated, I guess, and and other stuff. I can't remember the other one actually. Hadrian was interested in that more than me. And yeah, we spoke for a bit. Him and Hadrian got into a tizzy, which is expected. And then once that was done, he gave us some money, so we went shopping. Went shopping. We all bought a number of things. Garth got some bracers of archery and a longbow. Addis got a glaive and a bag of holding. Don't remember if Magnar got anything. I don't think so. Hadrian uh, got his trench coat enchanted, and gosh, and I've already forgotten the other thing. Oh, but we all got many of us got some clothing items. So that's what it was. Hadrian got a set of leather that changed. I got clothing that changed what I wanted. Addis also got that. And then after we went shopping, Hadrian went off to the orphanage to go bring some gifts to the little girl. I don't think he's told us how that went just yet. And back at the house, everyone else was doing experiments, I guess they called it, with the jar thing that comes back together, and nearly killed Garth because I thought, oh well, we'll put Garth between the broken pieces of glass that always go back together and reform, and sure enough, it ripped right through him. Not our finest moments, I would say. And yeah, we were in the process of trying to decide what we were going to do about the ring at the museum. Whether or not we're going to take it, we thought Godric would be trying to make a move for it if he hasn't already. We saw I think it was a gnome, I can't remember what, casing the place last time we were there, and we were trying to decide whether or not we were going to go in and take it ourselves, or jump the guy and take it, or something along those lines. And I believe that's where we left off.
All right. And yes, with that, we will pick up. You guys were currently sitting in the sort of lounge area of the Chateau Breton, where you guys have taken up residence for the time being, discussing various points of view and arguments over what to do about the ring, Godric's presence in town, the Queen Avril Velmont Prismari's birthday party that is coming up, that you have reason to suspect Godric will be showing up at. Good reason, as he told you he would see you there, seemingly aware of the twists and turns of fate. And you guys had been arguing over whether to go with the better of two evils and entrust the ring to Gilles, take the burden of its safety on yourself, or find another option. And with that, we'll begin.
Right. So as I was saying, I'm not saying there's no merit in deciding where the ring should end up, but it's all pretty pointless unless we can actually get hold of the ring.
Right.
So we should find out where it is right now.
Yeah. Also, as we were discussing last time, I think that we did all sort of realize that Jill is he's playing his cards too close to the vest to be acting on sort of Ameresian authority. So I have a strong suspicion the Queen might not know everything he's up to, and
I'm beginning to suspect she knows out and out and bugger all about what he's been up to.
yeah, exactly. So perhaps our best course of action is to try and keep, if it is in danger and if it is still there, a lot of ifs, the ring or whatever else out of the hands of either Godric or Jill, and then maybe, if I don't know, maybe, can you imagine growing up with him for a little cousin? Oh, I would jump at the chance to clap him in irons if someone brought me evidence of treason. So I feel like that should be a path.
Right. What time of day is it?
So at this point,
No.
you guys spent most of the day shopping. and wondering, and now you've been discussing. So it's pretty late in the evening, around 9 p.m., 10 p.m.
That is the
Probably
best
could
time
just
to head to a
pop over to the
museum.
museum. Yeah.
Well, it's a great time to go to a museum if you're going to do something nefarious. It's a less good if you're just going to go, oh, hello, come for a wander around.
Yeah, exactly. So
We'll
we should
dress
go
up there
now.
and tell them that, wait, we have these new ever-changing clothes.
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll look like janitors and say that we're the new janitorial staff.
I
Not everyone's got the new fancy clothes.
you look like a janitor regardless, though. I mean, you could just put on a smock and.
I'm wearing furs.
That feels offensive in some manner. I don't know how, but it just generally does.
It literally isn't. That could have been applied to anybody. Yeah.
Well, I guess we could see if it's open late. That would be a start.
I mean, like, Magnar has the disposition of a janitor, if that counts for
Oh,
anything.
Magna has the disposition of a night manager, not a janitor. Like he's the grumpy
Sure,
guy.
sure,
Like,
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
fuck you, don't come in here.
We'll go check. You know, maybe they have late hours. Museum after dark. You never know.
A night at the museum, as such.
Oh, it's quite
No,
catchy,
that sounds stupid.
Yeah,
No
it really
one would watch
does.
that.
No one would watch that.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys head out into the city, making your way through town over to the museum. It's late, and there are still many people on the streets. There are different bars open. You see the Bloom Theater. It's currently hosting some performances. The other tavern that seems rather busy is a tavern called the Flipped Bird. Seems to be run by a dragonborn couple and their adopted Kenku children or employees. But for the most part, the city is much less lively during this time of night. And occasional students walking around, the few couples taking a romantic stroll for the evening. And the soft illuminated street lights are magically lit and producing just a soft, comforting glow, keeping the streets safe. Well, one of you roll a D100 for me.
No, I don't like that. Who wants it?
It's all yours, Garth.
All right. I will do 100.
Just do better than you did against the book, and we'll be fine.
55.
About average. It's about average.
Whatever that means.
All right. So, on this particular evening, as you approach, you do see that the museum is closed, locked up. You do see the occasional, you do spot a law mage kind of occasionally walking out, checking the grounds, going through, kind of whistling to himself. Why do I always get these late hours? Why don't they put me in the freaking daytime? I'm sick of being the night shift. Nothing ever happens here. It's so boring. And
Famous last words.
good thing I
Is that-
retire in a week.
You see Adrian just
Then I can-
like, no,
Then I can spend time with my pregnant wife and my soon-to-be child.
Exactly.
you all see every vein in Hadrian's neck bald as he's like, all these things are murder accused.
But the place looks secure and quiet as you guys kind of walk the streets nearby.
Well, the place isn't swarming with law mages, so it doesn't look like they've just
But
suffered a major burglary.
they didn't even recognize the ring as a separate thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I
What if Jill's been
Right, but
scrying
was
on
it in
us?
I can't remember. I thought
at
it was in a
all?
glass case. There would have been
No.
some disturbance to get it out.
no, it was on a sarcophagus just right there.
Oh,
Are there any windows here for us? Could we see into where the exhibit is?
Not to where the exhibit is, not from the distance. You'd have to come up closer to the grounds to try and peek in some of the windows. There are a few large windows, but from your time there, most of them peer into where like the dragon skeleton is on the western wing.
Question, guys.
There are a few on the right that show some of the old Ishgarden ruins as well. And from your time inside, you know that up on the roof on the western wing over the skeleton is a giant skylight. Just a huge glass set of windows.
We could go up there.
Question.
Yeah.
What if Jill's been watching us through the ring this entire time?
Then I mean he knows about it and probably won't do
Well,
much other than set a
He-
trap
he
for
has to
dodge it,
do-
right?
He has to sort of pick to do an actual scry.
Yeah, it's not constant. It's 10 minutes a day
Right.
maximum.
But what if he's been watching us for like these last 10 minutes? Then
Well, we
what?
could
Then
stand
he
here for
knows
10
that we've
minutes.
been walking
He's an
in
incredibly
relative
lucky
silence to
man.
town.
He does not strike me as a particularly lucky man.
Not so far, no.
I mean, with
Adrian,
those
make a
looks,
perception
no.
check.
Me?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I
Garth, if he
don't-
had been watching us, then I mean it's
I'm gonna
still
use my
better than
inspiration.
nothing, I guess.
Already.
Oh boy.
23.
Oh god.
You do spot the law mage kind of eye you, looking you guys over a little bit as he walks by and kind of shrugs and heads back in. And in the distance, you do hear a couple of guard patrols kind of walking the city, getting closer. Not necessarily, you don't hear as though they're giving chase or approaching
Right,
rapidly,
it's
but
just weird that people are around the museum at this point. He probably hasn't seen anybody in this area for a while, correct? Like that's the vibe I'm getting, or is he looking specifically at me?
seems to be looking right at you.
Adrian, have you considered the fact that you might match the profile of a known terrorist?
I have a great idea, and I twist in my thing, and I put on a Guy Fawkes mask. They'll never find me.
Hmm.
No, I mean I can change my outfit if we need to, but we need to decide if we're actually going to try and go in or not.
I could try and
And with that
distract the
perception
guard.
check, you also notice a small gnome disappear behind down an alleyway.
I follow him.
What, Adrian? Wait.
And
Where
so
you
you guys
going?
watch as
Hold
Hadrian
on.
goes walking off. Are you just giving chase?
No, I motioned that there's that gnome down the alleyway. Follow.
That
Okay.
gnome.
The
Is
one
there
who
a
was,
gnome we're looking for? I thought we
the
were looking
one
for
who
a
was
ring.
casing the joint before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
that one, but I'm following.
If we watch for like points of egress, we
Because you
might
guys
let
are
him just
arguing over
go- no,
whether to follow.
walk with Hadrian.
Walk,
Walk with Hadrian whilst sort of muttering.
Make a investigation check. See if you can find his trail.
I saw him run that way. So
you
wait,
just
so
saw
is
him
this out-
disappear down an alley, and then you went to talk to the group, and they were like, "Do we follow? Should
No,
we
no,
follow?
no. I didn't go to talk to the group. I ran and I was like, follow. That was
Gestured.
when I was. Yeah, I wasn't saying please come with me. There is a gnome, and not looking at like I ran in that direction. It's Hadrian.
All right.
What am
so
I gonna
you,
do?
You give run.
Like,
You spot him as you get to the alleyway. You spot him kind of disappear down another alleyway and start trying to give chase and follow.
Yeah.
Are you trying to be stealthy or just booking it?
is he seems to be booking it, right? Or is he not?
He's
booking
moving pretty quickly, but he also seems to be kind of very adept at hiding in the shadows.
it? Is he near the museum or is he in a different direction entirely?
Going away from the museum.
I'll book it for a bit. Why not?
All right. Will you make an athletics check?
I will.
And if you guys are giving follow, will you make athletics checks?
That's
Addis
one.
isn't
I
following.
think I probably just trip.
Restore will follow.
All right. So you turn the corner and trip over a bunch of trash that's kind of laying in the alley behind a bar. Kind of tumble as
All right,
and you lose track of him.
All right. Well, okay. So as they catch up to you, okay, clearly the people who we thought are going to be stealing something are already here casing the joint. So go now or forever hold your peace.
Well, they're stealing something that's not the ring.
I
Well, no,
sincerely
we
doubt
don't know
that.
Which way is he heading?
He's heading away, but he could have been. We need to go back.
He
Like,
may already have it.
I don't think so.
Well, way to find out.
Well, I lost him, but we could still do a check in the museum. Like,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Addis, who did not follow, would like to walk up and try and find that guard that was walking around.
All
Law
right.
Addis is going to take the law mage on a moon knight.
As you approach, the next time you see the law mage kind of coming around, you kind of approach and give away. He gives you a nod. He's like, "I'm sorry, sir. The museum is closed for the evening."
Yeah, I'd like to like report a robbery or something.
I could summon the god if you like.
I think you guys have been robbed. We saw somebody running away.
None of the other patrols have sounded in for anything wrong. We just had a check-in a few minutes ago. The museum seems to be fine, but do you have reason to suspect someone would be attempting to rob the museum?
Yeah, we think so.
Um, I'm on duty right now, but if I get one of my supervisors here, would you be willing to speak to him?
Sure.
All right. Please wait out front. I will return shortly.
Cool.
He kind of walks off and heads in.
We'd head back, I guess.
By the time you get back, the guy comes back out, and
Oh, I don't want to be seen by him, so I would.
well, you didn't know that he's coming back, so you're walking back up
okay,
and would
that's fair.
see that the guard. He says, Monsieur.
Yep.
So I sent a message to my superior, Monsieur Dupuy. He is going to make his way down here. He was not very happy, but I am sure with your concerns, he will be pleased to know that a citizen such as yourself is looking out for our precious museum. But if you want to, if there's a place I can, if you would like to come in and sit for the time, I have been given authorization to allow you to do so. And I did not know you had so many companions. Which I'm very
Hello.
sorry, but I could not allow all of you in.
Why not?
It
Come on.
would.
What are we gonna do? We try to
You-
chase the thief down there, but
You
he
could
got
start.
away.
You could start trouble. It would be a pay. You could damage the museum. One person is already a stretch, and
Is it the bear? Is he the problem?
he kind of looks to the side, peeking around you to see Barry kind of giving him the stink eye. There's a problem, yes.
Are Frosty, what's the weather outside?
Currently clear skies. Fresh weather, warm summer evening.
Westora, maybe you should go in since you're the least destructive of us.
Well, I suppose if
Well,
when you put it
That's not
way,
that's not an
although-
insult, by the
I'm-
way. You're very
I'm-
destructive when you want to be.
Please, I'm sorry, but I spoke to him of you, Monsieur. So
Oh,
you are
okay.
who
You want
is
me to go
expected. Yes, please.
Okay.
If all of you would like to rather he meet you somewhere, I could tell him that when he arrives, but he would be expecting you, Monsieur.
No,
I mean, I can go in.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
fine, Addis. Yeah, you go in.
we'll wait out here like the peasants we are, while you go shit in the castle.
Restora
Thank you.
just looks at Garth. Jesus.
He's kind of looking at all of you. Make an insight check.
$18.
7.
18.
4.
So what story?
one.
He just looks annoyed by the group. That's it. You can tell
well,
he's
I
kind of
fully
frustrated.
Yeah,
But the rest
natural
of
I'm annoyed by them too.
the rest of you kind of realize that he seems nervous about the size of your group, and which allows you to kind of imply there probably aren't that many security guards on duty, and if all of you are in there, they're concerned about getting overwhelmed. And you also are able to tell he definitely feels suspicious about you guys waiting outside. Like,
Okay,
you're
no,
planning
we'll
something.
wait. We'll wait for him elsewhere, and I'm gonna make a show of walking away.
I'll meet you back at the tavern we're
back at
staying
the.
at.
Yeah. We'll meet there. We walk. I'm gonna walk away, and then as soon as I disappear, I'm gonna try and find a spot to climb onto the roof.
What tavern are we staying at?
Addis has gone inside at this point.
I look at him and say, it's okay. He forgets things. So come on, God, let's go. Bring Barry.
Barry will wander off with you. Wastora, Magnar, what are you doing?
I will sigh and follow after Adrian.
All right. So Hadrian leads you down an alley where he is looking for a spot to climb up one of the nearby buildings. One of
I
the
was just trying to
shops.
walk around the other side of the museum. I get it's sorry, it's hard without a map. I have no idea where this guy is versus like the entire.
Like you guys were
museum.
by
I
the
wasn't
front
necess-
entrance.
So I was gonna just walk around the side and like climb up the back or some shit. Like I
You're
don't-
going
I
to
don't know
climb
where
into
this
the
guy-
museum.
climb up onto the top of the museum is what I was
You
saying.
have to get into the so it's a museum. It's got large grounds around it. So like you,
Oh,
if
so there's a
you
wall.
like are like that's where the guy was walking
like there's
around.
like a wall.
Yeah,
around
he's
it.
taking you
Okay.
in. So like, are you? What I'm asking is, are you actually like
I'll
breaking
cast
into?
detect. I'll cast detect magic. Is the wall magical?
You are detecting magic.
Yeah.
Specifically, evocation, I believe.
Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna go and find a quiet place to sit and wait for Addis.
Westora, you're following Hadrian as Hadrian's kind of sizing up, deciding where to go over. I mean, you guys are outside this museum, so like, are you looking for a place to climb up and get onto the roof of the museum and get into the
That's-
grounds of the museum?
That's what I'm doing, but I
All right, make a stealth check.
guide myself on this. Guidance. Do.
Or that, sorry.
Westora
Ow, what the
mind slivers
fuck, Westora?
Hadrian.
No,
Oh!
no, I accidentally clicked.
13
Sorry.
plus 3. I'm gonna use a hero point. So that's an 18.
All right. So
What is with my rolls?
and you are able to find there's a few what are those they're usually on the side of fancy buildings. They have a little crisscross. My brain is not finding the word.
I forget the word, but I think I know what you're talking
But
about.
these little things, the ivy's kind of growing up and
Lattice.
Lattices, yeah,
lattices
lattice,
up
yeah.
along the side that you could try and climb up to the second floor. The brickwork. Thank you, overhyped. There's brickwork that has inlays and little scaffolds and windowsills, so it'd be a challenging climb, but it's doable. You don't,
You know, Frost.
yeah.
Oh no. Restora's gonna sit there for a moment, and then suddenly she's gonna turn and walk back towards the door where we last saw Addis and the guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and climb up. Why not?
All right. Will you make an athletics check? Addis, as you're coming inside with the gentleman, he says, please have a seat up here at the front office. You're welcome to sit behind the desk. There's the chair there is rather comfortable.
28.
I'm going to go get one of my assistants to stay with you while I resume my patrol. So please excuse me for just one moment. Don't go anywhere.
Is it the sort of thing where I could go with you on the patrol and just because there's a few items that we're worried that he might have stolen. Like we heard about some like rumors and things. You know how people get.
You could,
if I go with you, I could.
You could
like just walk with you. You'll see
you
me.
could
the whole
walk with
time.
me to
I'm
my
massive.
assistant, but it would be very inappropriate for us to allow you to walk the museum.
Okay. I haven't actually been here before, so
but make a persuasion
the other
check.
people are. Okay. I have -2 to my charisma.
This is
I'm going to maybe use something on this. Inspiration, I guess.
okay.
Bit early to use it, but why not? I'm gonna use a hero point. Why not?
Rack him up.
That's a 13.
So it says, I do appreciate your kindness and willingness to assist us, but it would just be inappropriate, and I would not want to get in trouble with
it's
my
all
boss. I'm
good.
very sorry.
Knock,
I actually don't remember what. Like I haven't been here before, but I think it was like a
I think Addis,
sarcophagus or something, or something in that area. I apologize.
I will definitely have a look at that. We have a few sarcophagi, but please have a seat. And as you're doing that,
Knock, knock.
Adrian, will you make a stealth check at disadvantage? Wastora, you're walking around and you like.
Wait. So I made the athletics check. Does that not give me any advantage with?
No, that's just
stealthing?
the ability to. That's just you climbing the building.
Okay.
Stealth to
I will
climb
disguise
quietly.
myself with magic as I'm doing this, but because
You have your hands occupied while you're climbing.
I know, but I mean the coat. Like I would have done it before I jumped up. Like I said, the guy folks mask joke, but I'm assuming a different outfit, like a normal Ameresian outfit, I guess.
All right. You hadn't said that, but okay.
22.
22.
Oh, 6 hero points on that one. Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't want to fail this, so I was burning that because.
All right. So you pretty stealthily get up to the top. Westoria, you get around to the front. It's not long, Addis, before another gentleman kind of comes over and sits down beside you. He's a little older. He's wearing the same kind of white law mage robes, but he definitely looks a little frailer than the other one. The other one's, good middle-aged gentleman, seems well kept. But this guy, he's got kind of ratty hair. Doesn't look like he takes his job very seriously. Definitely doesn't take a lot of care in his appearance. The loose sort of ruffled shirt on him. Even his ring that the law mages wear that allows them to have true sight is slightly kind of off to one side and really scuffed and dirty. But Wastara, what are you doing as you walk around front and see the gentleman that Addis was speaking to walking back out?
It's too late. My whole plan got ruined, so I turned back. I was going to cast sleep on the guy Addis was talking to, but that doesn't matter.
All right.
I was trying to rush back. I didn't make it clear, so
My apologies.
that's all right. No, I didn't specify. I just said I was going back. I didn't realize we had gone that far. I thought we were
Yeah, I thought we were like a block,
Well, it sounds like they went
block.
off into the museum. They wouldn't, unless you'd followed into the museum, you wouldn't
I
be able
thought-
to do anything.
I thought he went way away. To get
I
to
was
the
trying to
system,
go to
but-
whatever door they went into, hoping to catch them
Mhm.
right on the other side of the door, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Because I've got the ability of casting sleep without using somatic or verbal components.
you guys
I
were-
was gonna try to be sneaky.
So just to clarify, you guys were walking along the front, like the streets by the museum to get to the museum. Hadrian saw a gnome disappear down one of the back alleys going away from the museum. You guys gave chase to that. While Addis was hanging out and kind of looking at the front, the gentleman that was walking the grounds around the museum came forward and talked to him. You guys came back as he returned after talking to his superior. Then
No,
he
we-
took
we-
Addis inside. Hadrian and Westora went to go. Westora followed Hadrian. Hadrian was walking around the grounds looking for a place that he could climb up onto it, and kind of got around the back of the museum, found a spot where he could climb up onto the roof. Westora, you walked away. During that time where you walked around and were looking for a spot to climb up with Hadrian and then walking back, that's while Addis was having his conversation inside. Now the gentleman's heading out. And Hadrian, you're climbing up the back of the museum wall near the rear of the building. And that's where we're
No,
leaving you guys.
I just had a good idea too late. So
Magnar and
so
Garth,
I don't know what I'll do now.
what are you two doing?
Magnar said he's looking for a quiet spot just to wait for Addis, so I followed him.
Yeah, we're just sitting far enough away that we're not troubling the guard.
Okay. Just finding a nice little bench on the side of the street down a little ways.
Yeah.
Like, we'll say you're like 2 blocks down in a bench that's at a park, and you can see people kind of strolling through the park.
As long as we can sort
Barry's scratching his back up against one of the trees, bare necessity style.
as long as we can see the entrance from where we are.
Still see the museum
Yeah,
entrance.
yeah. It's a fairly large building.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're small city blocks, nice English crowded town city blocks. Westora, as you walk around, you do see Magnar and Garth have disappeared and left, and you do spot them several, 2 streets down, sitting on a bench at the park.
Bears are quite easy to spot.
Hadrian, you get up to the top of the building, and you do see a large, you climb up one of the side buildings on the grounds, one of the other exhibits, and get up on top. And you can see there's actually on the second floor a large landing with a fountain Um, and that seems to change because you don't know of anything inside the building that feeds the fountain. There's a couple of rest spots, a few chairs and desks for guests that are at the museum. You can see the large double doors of the second floor entrance, open glass, and you do spot a guard kind of patrolling the area, that particular level. And you see the guard that was talking to Addis kind of come up to him, and they seem to have a discussion. And you can't hear them from the distance you're at.
Okay.
And flanking the doors on the left and right hand side of the entrance are these two large gargoyle-esque statues.
Right. I try to get up to the top of it, I guess, to the top of the roof. Like,
Uh,
am I still riding that
they're-
athletics check, or did I need to stop?
well,
Like-
this you're up on like the first floor roof of this wing, and then there's the landing. To get up to the top where the glass is, you'd have to cross the landing where the windows are, and then climb up about 2 floors to get up onto the very, very top of the highest point of the museum. The sarcophagus is on the east wing, in the east wing, on the ground floor, and that's also a 3-story rise.
Okay. Well, obviously, because I don't have a map, so I can't check. Like, I can't plot a path over. I would try and plot a path over there from where I am, because that's what I'm trying to get a look at. So
You can see, like, you could cross the balcony. If you were trying to go over to the sarcophagus, you could cross the balcony, and climb up onto the roof of the second level halls, and then get from the halls up over to the right hand side, the east side, and then climb up the side of the building up to the 3rd floor and be over the sarcophagus. You do see windows on this level, so you could try and go in through the windows and get into the museum that way, or go through the balcony doors, or you could go to the west side and try and climb up the full
and
exhibit
detecting
room.
magic. Is there magical protections on these windows, or is it?
You're
just-
detecting various magics throughout the area, enchantments, evoktions.
Sure, but like on the windows themselves, for example, is there a defensive enchantment, or are they just windows?
Make an Arcana check. See if you can interpretate and interpretate the. That word is not sounding right. I don't think I'm saying it right tonight.
Interpret.
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 Natural 20.
All right. So there definitely does seem to be some alarm magic on the windows and the glass. You're picking up conjuration magic on the gargoyles.
Yeah, not gonna fuck with those.
And what looks to be, kind of judging from the thing, is if you trigger the security system, the alarm system, the gargoyles will activate.
Right. Okay. I make my way over to the east wing for the sarcophagus system. That's sort of the plan.
Up on the roof, or trying to get into the building.
Well, I can't break. I'm not going to break a window yet, so I'm going up on the roof for now.
Okay.
And I will see what happens.
So make a stealth check and an athletics check as you move past the windows on the balcony, trying to hurry
Another stealth
quickly.
check, or
Yep.
Sorry. Just 24 and 15. That should be enough to climb, right? Like,
So it is a difficult climb. And make an athletics or a stealth at disadvantage, because you're trying to climb up the side of this building. Like, you've run across the balcony, you've gotten to the area where the building is, and you kind of leapt over, grabbed onto the rocks, and you're climbing up the side of this building as they're on what little scaffolds and holes there are.
so that's going to be a 14. 15.
All right.
Does the 24 stealth originally not buy me anything on that one? Because
No, there's multiple challenges here they're having to overcome. It depends on what you're doing. Stealth doesn't apply for the whole thing. There's been different situations of guards patrolling and
that's
windows
fair.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's also just hard because I can't sort of visualize what's going on.
But you get up onto the roof and have a nice clear view of the whole museum. While that is going on, Addis, you're sitting there waiting, and you hear some rocks crumbling outside. The guard that you're with doesn't seem to have picked up on it, but it does sound. You are able to hear the faint sounds. Well, I believe your passive perception was high enough to beat that, if I remember correctly.
I don't have very good wisdom, so there's a good.
I might
only
be
have a 13.
misremembering. So you probably wouldn't hear anything. But you're sitting there waiting, and
I hear rocks falling, and it's just my shoulders.
Yeah. And the guy looks over at you and he's like, "You entirely rock?"
No, just mostly.
How'd that happen?
I fell into a pool of rocks and was struck by lightning and bitten by snakes.
I haven't heard of that causing anything else. Yeah. You get stoned?
Yeah.
I have some fey weed.
In
if you're
every- in
interested.
every
It
sense
takes
of
the
the
edge
word.
off of this job.
Mm.
Oh. Sits down and seems
I
to
won't
light
tell
up
you,
a pipe
supervisor.
of something that stinks. Remember Komos smoking it. But for the most part, and until you see a figure kind of walking up outside, and there's like shit, kind of puts it out. And
You can blame me. Say I was smoking it.
as the doors open, you can hear kind of latching in, and Hadrian, you can, from where your height, you see the gentleman kind of approaching in the night. And you can see he's got a long blue trench coat, very fancy, kind of black with blue and gold trimmed undercoat that's sort of latched a little bit to the side with these metal straps. It's got two tails that you can see from the inside underneath the long trench coat, and he's wearing very nice pants, and what looks to, interestingly enough, wearing just some soft like casual shoes. Don't look like shoes that you'd wear traveling or walking around the city, just sort of home comfort shoes.
Yeah, he's been woken up. He's not happy about it.
He's got lean, angular features. He looks to be maybe in his mid 40s. He's just got sort of the sides of his head, very tightly trimmed short hair with just a little bit on top that's kind of slicked back, and it's salt and pepper. You can see he's wearing 3 rings. One definitely looks like a house ring. Another one looks like a law mage ring. And the third you don't recognize. But it has various runes and little gems set inside of it.
And they don't look like Godric rings. Did they?
No. This one definitely is a
Okay.
very modern styled ring.
I'm
Make
like,
an
is he
Arcana
disguised self? Arcana 23.
You've heard of these. They're fairly expensive, but they're rings of spell storing.
Mm.
And he kind of walks in. What is that damn smell? This gentleman here, he was trying to smoke in the museum. I have to tell him not to. Very
Sorry.
well. Please be gone. I was told that you had information about the robbery.
About a possible robbery, yeah. You see, I'm an archaeologist.
Oh, where did you study?
New to the city. Self-practiced, I guess. Although I did do a couple excavations up in Sword Coast.
Out of Balder. I understand that.
Yeah.
So you are a scavenger king.
Yeah. But I've been traveling down. I wanted to try and get into one of the schools here, but with all the hubbub, I haven't managed to get in.
I do apologize. There was a terrorist attack on one of our great cities. We are
Yeah.
by a warlock. We're currently investigating proper magic use. But if you're studied with magic and have experience in the scavenger lands out of Baldur, that would be of great assistance. Is that perhaps, what is it that you think that they are here to steal?
So I haven't been to your museum before. Just I would love to be here during visiting hours at some point and see your exhibits, but some companions of mine had been here before, and we'd heard some weird rumors about there's some sort of sarcophagus.
Yes, we have Aldrin's sarcophagus here with us currently
Yeah,
being
that
displayed.
one. There may be another piece, or there's like a part of that sarcophagus that they were trying to steal.
Very hard. Do you know why they would be interested in a piece of Aldrin's sarcophagus? Are they cultists, perhaps from Wallachia? The sarcophagus is all known from Wallachia, so I find it hard to believe that. But they do have.
I mean,
problems.
I don't know. I don't know for certainty. Like I don't know when or
walk with
necessarily
me.
who is going to do this attack. But also, it may be related to that terrorist thing, right? It might be like, you know how he's got all those like insurgents and stuff. It might be like that.
Make a deception check for me.
Is it deception? I'm not like actively.
You're not
trying to-
lying, but you are keeping a lot from him. And I'm trying to see
Okay.
if
He's
you're able
he's also
to
giving
hide.
him a lot of information though. Like
That's a 0. That's a
He
0.
kinda-
like he's basically selling this shit out right now. I feel like
Yeah,
that's a deception
absolutely,
check.
Guys,
Guys, okay. Adrian doesn't
are
know this though.
trying
He's
to
still going to try to go
hide.
through it.
Yeah. I'm trying to hide
information,
bits,
So,
yeah.
but he says, "Come, walk with me. I will show you the
walk
exhibit.
with me.
Perhaps your trained eyes might be able to show or find what they are interested in that we have
And
overlooked."
to be fair, I'm not lying about being an archaeologist. It's my background,
I know,
so.
I know.
Yeah, I'll follow.
So he kind of walks around.
You're just trying very hard not to say ring.
Mostly that.
Hadrian, you are up on the roof. You see the gentleman walk into the front door and another one kind of walk out, go over by a tree and pull something out and begins to start smoking something. You can't see into the place. There's no windows up here on this side. There's no skylight on the east wing. But you do have a good vantage of the whole facility, and you're not seeing anything suspicious going on.
Except for me.
Yeah.
I'm the suspicious party here, but I know that, and I'm all right. I'm going to wait.
Okay, just
I'm
trying
gonna hide,
to.
I'm gonna try and hide very well, sort of like again, like Batman is the gargoyle style, just like sort
Make
of
a
perched up
stealth
there.
check at advantage because there aren't very good view lines that allow anyone to see up here.
I kind of want to take that. I'll
Well, you
take
did
that.
already
It's a
spend your
19.
inspiration.
I know. No, I meant I could use the hero point. Is what I meant. I don't. I mean, like I've burnt 2 of them already. I don't know if I want to burn more, but that is that's a 19.
Okay. Almost a net 20.
No, not almost a nat 20. I have a +9 to my stealth. Sorry, +7, +9. I have a +9. How is that?
You've got guidance on. Why is that?
I
Oh,
guided myself.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, you've
Is,
been, you've
is
been
it
casting
from the
guidance
is it
on
from
yourself.
the background thing?
Please let me know if you are
Because
casting
we all got,
guidance.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I
Yeah,
will.
please let me
yeah.
know when you're casting guidance because it does require verbal and semantic
Oh,
components.
okay. Then I wouldn't. Then
And-
I always forget that I would not have been doing it then. So it's an 18.
Yeah, so
Fuck.
so that would have
I'm-
changed a lot of your rolls.
Okay.
Um,
Future reference. I will remember that.
Oh.
I'm gonna burn this then because I don't want to be caught. So
all right.
3 hero points left.
Yeah, because you can't cast stealthily unless you have subtle casting.
Right.
Uh
I always thought guidance was just somatic.
well, even somatic components can be heard. Or verbal components can be heard. Somatic components. The issue with somatic components, yeah, hands,
now.
hands, brain,
The hands
It's one of
clap
those
too
days.
loud,
Anyone
yeah.
else having one of those days?
I mean,
I get 'em
I
all
forgot
the
that
time.
guidance required verbal components, so yes, I guess I am.
So Addis, you are walking through the
Oh,
museum.
when we first were introduced and like before we start walking through the museum, could I just put like a hand out to like shake his hand?
Yeah, he'll shake your hand. And he
I would like to make
says-
an investigation and make sure that he's not using any illusion magic.
All right, make an investigation as he introduces himself as I'm Massiotis Dupoy.
I'm gonna split a hair point here. That is a 19.
There is an illusion on him.
Shit. Okay. Can I from like the physical contact, can I tell?
The clothes
it's
seem
on-
softer than they should. Make an insight.
Okay.
He couldn't be bothered to get dressed.
17.
He's in his pajamas. He's just got an illusion of clothes
God damn it.
on.
I've learned an important fact here today, guys. This is important.
And with that insight, you can see the bags under his eyes. He looks really tired.
Yeah.
And is kind of he walks you over into the room where the sarcophagi and everything. So you say
Addis is like, if this man
sarcophagi.
is someone in disguise, honestly, just proud of him for putting pajamas on. Anyway.
But he was probably in his pajamas and was just like, illusion.
I am already in my pajamas.
He obviously forgot to make an illusion for his shoes.
Yeah.
Cast illusion, then put his slippers on.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
That's exactly what happened. But he kind of walks you into him. And your name, monsieur?
Addis.
That is what?
Nahas.
Well met, Monsieur Nahas. So as you can see, we do have these. We have Aldwin's sarcophagi constructed by his followers at the surrender where they buried his bodies. The black blade and its fragments etched upon the surface. Well, we get to see his thing. The various rooms, and if you look at the incredible carvings, it's an amazing work of art. And you can see various fragments from the battles that were fought and won. The armor of one of his lieutenants. But not sure anything. I mean, sure some of the weapons would be interesting, but not of combat value, rather valuable in the collector market. But what do these rumors, what do you believe that they are after? If you, a fellow archaeologist, were here to steal something, what would you be after?
Oh God. I mean,
And make a wisdom save.
Oh boy.
As you see one of the gems on his ring
That was an
fades.
8. Spicy 8.
What is Addis thinking when he asked that?
God. I feel like
Oh.
Addis isn't
thinking anything.
Addis got very overwhelmed when he started like showing him all the different exhibits, and Addis's brain was like, "Oh, ooh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Man, I haven't seen anything this cool in a while. This is a cool museum."
But yeah, and then he asks, because he is reading your thoughts at this point. He asks past that. So
Yeah.
when he asks, what would you be interested in stealing? Do you think would Addis realistically think the ring is what they're after? And
Oh
then-
God, no, because he's been against stealing it the whole time.
Okay.
So like, I feel like if he asked him that, I feel like the
Would
first
he
thing
be
that would think
thinking
of,
at
like,
all about his companions, worried that his companions might try and steal it, or any of those thoughts like deep in his mind?
I don't know necessarily, because he also has to probe deeper, I think, right? Because that was the first. Is the first wisdom save just the failed, or is he probing deeper?
He's probing deeper.
Okay. He doesn't trust Hadrian at all, so there's probably some deep thought in there, like Hadrian's going to do something stupid, but
It's just
I feel like
the wisdom
he
save
would-
lets you know if you're being probed deeper.
I will say like I feel like Addis probably would think he'd be thinking about the sarcophagus, not as like in a seal, but like he wants to inspect it,
Okay.
basically.
But he says, yeah, what's on the sarcophagus? I mean, it's a sarcophagus. We don't believe there's any treasure inside of it or anything.
I mean,
I don't like, so when I look, if he allows me to go up and look,
Yeah,
can Addis sort of just like look at it?
Yeah.
What is it like? What's
make an investigation.
okay? Oh God.
So it is carved from a black and gray marble. Along the edges, it shows various depictions of battles. You notice none of it depicts any losses. It's all the victories and everything. You do see the lid of the sarcophagus has this full effigy sort of carved into it that actually rises three-dimensionally, not an outline or anything, but it looks like a physical body is laying on the sarcophagus lid. Just extremely well carved, of this knight in plate armor, his hands crossed, holding a blade over his chest, with the blade running down the length of his body, running all the way to the end. And even though the blade is stone, the blade it doesn't look like stone, it looks real. So it's very interesting how they were able to carve the stone around the actual sword and get it in, or place the sword into that spot and seal it. The knight's got sort of etched very typically evil, sharp shoulder pads, flowing cloth, and there's carvings of flowers up around the sides. And unfortunately, you don't notice anything other than that, except because you know about the ring, what the rings look like, you can see that the ring that on the statue that's carved in with the two hands, on one of the fingers is the ring, but it looks like it's, again, you're not entirely sure how it would be possible to actually put this ring on the finger, or because you can't see a seam. Like the ring looks like a part of the statue. And the stone isn't glowing at all. Like you saw the ones on Godric's hands when they were glowing. This one isn't. But it does seem to be a slightly green colored stone. And it's one of the few gems set into the statue, other than the deep blue gems that are in his eyes. And it is unnerving how lifelike and alive this effigy looks. Like it could just sit up and attack you at any moment. There are arcane runes etched around the seam. And the whole thing is in good condition. You can see dents and cracks and damage from wear and tear. And even though you got a bad investigation roll, you've seen enough tomb hoarders and robbers to see the signs of where people tried to like pry open the lid. And next to those scratches, there's these faint black scorch marks, kind of like dust that hasn't quite been dusted off.
I mean, you were saying that there's like not a ton of stuff in here that people could like use as a weapon, but that's like a sword right there.
We think that it is just naturally carved from the stone and that it is just very well made. Our examination of it has detected that the sarcophagi is enchanted, but the enchantment prevents further scrying or analyzing.
So like you can't detect magic on any of it.
We are aware detect magic does reveal that the sarcophagus is enchanted, but any attempts to scry inside or to identify the enchantments has been thwarted.
What about like the lid though, like the sword? Like, does the sword, is that a separate? Like, have you been able to register this as a separate piece, or is it just part of?
We have not been able to remove
like
it, and would probably have to damage the sarcophagus to do so.
So, I mean, at least from when I'm looking at it, it looks like the stuff that we've been hearing about someone trying to steal it. It hasn't been stolen yet, right?
There has not been any break-ins, no. There
But
was a
that does
supposed
mean
threat. A gnome was reported one day, not a couple
that's
days
the
ago.
guy. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thief that we just saw him outside.
You did.
Yeah,
Do you have a
my allies
description
went
of
chasing
him?
after him. I don't personally. But Westora, she's
Well, it would not
like
be
an
polite to
Eladrin.
hunt down every gnome in the city, now would it? I'm sure.
No. But I
We cannot
don't.
do
I
such a
haven't
thing.
seen the guy personally, but I know one of my colleagues has. So you would ask her for a better description.
Where are you staying? Perhaps I can come and visit with, or you could meet me at one of the sanctuaries. One of the
I mean, my colleague may just be outside, so you could try. You could ask her right now, and I'll go with you. I obviously don't want to leave me alone in here, but
you could meet me at the Arresta station and file a report with the description if you want. I unfortunately do have a long day tomorrow. I must be returning home and cannot allow you to remain in, but it does look like everything is intact.
okay.
And I do appreciate your wanting these cultural artifacts. And these are the living history of Amaris. These show how far we have come. Did you know that before the battle with Aldwin, Amaris was an isolationist state, and we did not share our knowledge? You'll see the history and culture, wisdom, magic, they are for everybody that is responsible. And our wonderful way of life would not be possible without the exchange that we have with the other nations. So the fact that they have agreed to loan us these exhibits is an example of the great relations that we are establishing and the changes that we have to look forward to, as well as it kind of looks trepidatiously at the sarcophagi. And for the first time, you notice that he has elf ears, long pointed ears. It says, and how far we have come, and what we must never forget.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. And I'm obviously glad that nothing's, been touched or stolen, because you're right. I mean, all of this stuff, it is very important cultural artifacts, you know. I mean, I always I always kind of wanted to be sponsored, right? When you're going into those old dig sites and things up in the mountains, right? It would be nice to have a patron or something to put it towards. I mean, I was always just sort of bringing it back to the tribe. But there's some, I've always wanted to sort of be able to find stuff in those ruins and bring them into like a proper establishment like this. So, I appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Well, if you do decide to join the Academy and I'll let in, please remember my name.
And what was that name again?
Do you ask him?
No. Out of character. I just like the spelling.
Maciotis Depoy.
Because I got the boy. How did the Maciotis fit was the.
I may be able to put
I
in
spelled that completely wrong.
I may be able to put in a word for you. You do seem to
Thank you very much.
appreciate history. And
Mm.
practical
And
experience
sorry.
is rare to come by.
That is very true. Where exactly was that? You said there was a way station I could
An Arresta
to try and give
station.
you
There
more
are
information.
various around the city, but there is one nearby. The Guild House, large, long building, looks
Okay.
somewhat church-like, domed center around, just off of Morel Street.
Okay.
But
I assume it's closed now. I should probably go there tomorrow.
oh, it is always open. I just won't be there to
Okay.
take any notes. I have to go
What?
home and get some sleep.
Yeah.
My
So if I go there
husband would kill
tomorrow,
me.
midday. But if I go there tomorrow about midday, you think you'd be probably
I can make sure
able
to
to-
stop by tomorrow midday.
okay? Sounds
If
good.
you are
Thank you
interested in
very
our
much.
history, and even though you can't attend, you could always join the Dead Languages Society. One of their representatives performs at the Bloom Theater. And
Ooh.
there's an individual, a Loxodon named Rampart, who is a member of who is studying under Quandrix, that tends to stay at the who stays at La Lucio library in town, but he there was an incident there. You may want to give it a few days for them to resolve.
Thank you very much for the information.
And he shakes your hand as he escorts you out of the building. Have a pleasant evening.
And yeah, I'll leave.
All right.
Try and find Magnar and Garth and
Westora is sitting down at the
Oh.
park. Hadrian, what are you doing as you're up on the roof?
I mean, I don't know any of that just happened. So I have no idea that the modus operandi has shifted.
You see Addis walking out after waiting for about 40 minutes.
No, I know that. I don't know what was said inside, obviously,
Mhm.
so I don't. Is there a window that looks into the sarcophagi room by any chance?
Uh,
On the side of the wall, like
there are.
hmm. Do I see any suspicious looking gnomes around?
Nope.
Because I'm thinking I may need a tactic shift if we're actually going to try and stop them from stealing this thing.
You don't see anybody around. I mean, there's the occasional person walking the streets, but Addis is walking away from the building. And you see the gentleman disappear.
How thick did the glass look?
Are you going to climb down and see the glass and like take a look at the window? Because you're on the roof for the third story.
I know. Is there anyone patrolling on that side?
Make a perception check.
Nine.
You don't see anyone patrolling.
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, you're debating that and trying to decide what to do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide what to
Addis,
do.
you walk up and approach Magnar and Garth and Westora outside of the park. Sort of sitting and waiting for
as
you, but
soon
you
as he
notice
doesn't see
Hadrian's missing.
Hadrian. Yeah. As soon as he sees Hadrian's missing, his face just immediately drops, and you just see him go, "Oh fuck!" No one tried to stop him or anything. You just let him wander off.
Well, I thought you were maybe distracting them or trying to figure out a way for us to get in.
Yeah, I
You
thought
didn't
you
tell,
two
you
were
didn't tell us
working
what you were
together.
doing. You just walked in there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, we
fair.
went
You
round
guys
the
chased
side
out. You,
and
you,
came back
you
and
guys,
sort of
you
shot
guys
in.
chased out. Yeah.
I mean, I
No,
thought you two
you
were
guys
working
chased after
together.
them. No.
Right.
I was trying to see if we could get up their security somehow, which is what I told you guys. I don't think we should try and steal this thing.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
that's
news, at
good.
least.
Yeah.
Like it worked. I got
Right.
in there. I got to see it. I know that it's there.
No,
and
it's
it hasn't
very
been
valuable.
stolen.
It's very valuable, but like,
Yes, I just think plan was find out if it's still there, decide what to do. Which I guess
Yeah,
you
which-
found out it was still
which-
there and decided what to do. Which, yes, I suppose.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we haven't found out what to do yet, right?
Well,
we know it's
yeah,
there.
no,
Various
uh,
options have now closed.
I wasn't gonna be able to steal it either way, and Hadrian would probably have gotten caught if he was trying to steal it too. Because
Yeah,
we
but
walked
the trouble
in
is he
there.
may actually still be trying to steal it, and security has just been heightened.
The security for tonight is not heightened, other than like one extra person. They brought in one additional guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully
Well, we'll just have to
he
wait and see
doesn't
what Adrian does then.
do anything stupid.
We really
Although,
should invest in some way to talk to each other.
About
Maybe, yeah.
well, I mean, I did actually ask Jill for a sending stone. I think he was going to give us one. He said he was sending one to our place within the next few days.
Yeah, I think that might be to talk to him.
It's better than nothing. We can talk to somebody.
Hello, Jill.
right?
If you see Adrian, tell him to stop it.
Exactly.
I think
And honestly, Hadrian, and then Jill could spy on Hadrian and tell us where he is. Is that not perfect?
I think we should wait here for Adrian.
He's been going
If things go bad,
okay,
do we want to
I
be
will
in
say
the
off
vicinity?
game, I literally have no idea what to do because meta wise, it's a bad idea, but in game, he has no idea that y'all have just walked off and like, so I do not know what to do, and I'm
If he
struggling.
gets
Make an
arrested, we should
intelligence
not be
save
nearby.
or wisdom. Make a wisdom save. You realize breaking into the museum alone with your skills
it's a terrible
idea.
No, I mean, I have thieving skills. I also still think I'm being backed up by people. That's the problem. I only saw Addis leave.
Well, no, what I'm saying,
know
like
what's in
looking
there.
around, you don't see them. You
All
see
right,
Addis
fine.
leave, and you don't see any of your crew.
I just leave mumbling about the hero points that I wasted trying to get up here to break in.
Make
And we're
a
now gonna
athletics
have
and
to-
a stealth check at disadvantage as you
Great.
climb down the building.
Andrew just falls off the roof.
I mean, you could jump the 90 feet and try and
How
10
would that be?
stories?
How would that be
Or-
any better? Why is
You
it? Why are
hear
both
the
at
bones
disadvantage?
crack.
Why are both at disadvantage? Why is climbing at disadvantage? I just want to know
no,
that.
the athletic. The
Okay.
athletics, the stealth check is at
It's
disadvantage.
straight.
The athletics
Yeah.
is not. And these are big museum floors. They're not.
No, I know. Again, it's
Westora
hard 'cause
Westora made a
I
joke
liter-
about it being 10
I
stories.
can't see the map, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. A 12.
A 12. So as you're climbing down, you can hear a couple of the like branches and stuff on some of the lattices and stonework crumble and break.
Whatever.
And,
I'm still disguised as a random Ameresian person. I'm just sure they have true sight, so this is all fucked right now. But
so-
I'm gonna run.
as you're climbing down, one of the guards does spot you. And I was like, "You there? You're violating the law. Stop!" And kind of starts to give chase.
I cast command at him and I say, walk that way. And then I run in the other direction.
Alright, I need to make his save.
Wisdom.
Pull up a law mage.
It's a law mage. I thought it was a guard. The fuck? Gotta make that clear, Frosty.
These are all
I
law
did
mages.
say that the law mages
Yeah.
were watching the play, guarding the
Oh.
place.
Okay, I didn't know that because you said guards and you said law mages. Those are like you've used those two words and you weren't always using them interchangeably. In that case, I would just expeditious retreat and run.
Okay. Will you make
you tell him to walk that way anyway, but then you just
go that way? Will you make a wisdom save for me?
Oh boy.
Thank you, everybody. 21. Nope, not gonna work.
Yeah, he says stop, and you feel the like hold person spell way into your body as you push through it and keep running, and you're fast enough to disappear. As you guys watch as Hadrian goes running down the
It's not Hadrian. It's a random Ameresian noble, just like running down the street.
Your
Stop a
clothes don't
criminal.
disguise
Yeah,
you;
that's
they
right,
just
yeah.
change your outfit. It's not disguise self on yourself. That's
Well,
what the
I would've
mask
put a
charm
hat-
does.
I would
So
have put a hat on, so
you didn't say
Okay,
that.
fine.
So
okay. Well, this okay.
So yeah, you guys see Hadrian in
Fine.
different clothes go running down the street very quickly, being chased by a law mage.
All right,
Who
well-
quickly falls out of step and walks back to the museum.
I think we've learned an important thing tonight. And I forgot what it was, so we should probably go home.
probably decide what we're going to do before we go wandering off to places.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
I think that's the general lesson.
Speaking of deciding things before we wander off to places, Westora, if we can give the museum more information about what the gnome looks like, they might have a better chance of catching the guy. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't have a good description of him. Would you be able to go with me tomorrow and give them a better description of this gnome?
Yeah.
Or any of you guys? Do any of you guys have a good?
No, I
description of
got
the
a
gnome?
good look at him in the museum. I saw him then, so I know what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah, because that just might help them catch the gnome at least.
I just think you're putting a lot of stock on these people to hold off Godric, but then again, I don't know if we do. So.
Well, I don't think
Yeah,
Godric's coming
isn't
here
it
to take the
better-
ring.
He hired the gnome to do it, right? If we can get them to
We
at
have
least up
no
security
idea.
slightly.
Yeah, we still don't even know that that's what the gnome's after. For all we know, the gnome has just successfully completed a burglary, grabbed the thing that's of extreme value that he thought was precious, and buggered off.
Or perhaps
Sneaks
someone
in
else
there.
Well,
hired him to keep it away
well,
from Godric.
when we saw
We're
him, he
going
was
on a lot
chasing
of
out
ifs.
the room
Yes.
with the sarcophagus. So
When I was in there, he didn't seem to notice anything missing, and I didn't notice anything massive missing. So
But the ring was still there.
the ring, yeah.
All right. You learn
I mean,
anything
I don't
else?
know how you'd get it. I don't know how you'd get it off without like breaking it, right? Like he'd have to go in there and like break the hand or something to try and get that ring off, probably.
Do you think it was put there magically?
You think Godric would
Probably,
care?
yeah.
Could
Oh,
literally
breaking
break
it?
the hand.
I don't think Godric is going to get the ring himself, and if he is, we're fucked out of their way.
Yeah, that's true. We're not going to stop him.
I did think the guy in pajamas was Godric for a while, but no, he was just a guy in pajamas.
Which guy? Oh, never
The
mind.
guy in pajamas.
The guy who walked up said, "I'm the boss." All the guards left, and then he took me around to tour the museum, and I was like, "Oh, that's suspicious."
The guards didn't leave. They left you. They left you to go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
on their patrols.
I know. I just mean like the guy walked up, the guards went, "Oh yeah, it's you, boss," and then like I was like, this guy himself could have easily just made, and he was wearing rings. It was suspicious as hell, man. He had 3. I was like, uh-oh.
Well,
So what?
Adrian's
What do they know that they
friend.
didn't know before? And what do you know that you didn't know before?
I mean, all they know
well,
is that
they know that somebody's planning on stealing something from the museum.
something from the sarcophagus spot in the museum. Like they know it's that room. I
that's
didn't
good.
tell them it was the ring. Like I tried to keep it as vague as I could.
Okay.
In fact, there's a really cool sword there, and I honestly think like maybe he was going after the sword.
So what happens if we decide to steal it for?
Well, I think that's
Well,
out of the question now.
I don't know if we will
With the
live
extra
with
security?
choice. Well, I mean that's my
I don't
point.
know. Well, we don't know what the extra security is going to even be.
I suppose we
Right.
go back in the
Well,
day
how
to
well
see.
staffed did there seem to be in there?
Hmm?
How many guards did you come
So,
across?
what did you-
How well staffed is it?
How many guards did I see, Frosty? Yeah, I saw at least like 3, right?
Yeah.
Just from because I was on like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
because I didn't see the people on the higher floors. I just saw the people.
Yeah,
on the higher
yeah.
floors. So I saw the
So 3.
guard that I met. There's another guard, and yeah. So I just saw 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
the guy who runs the place, the guy you met, and the guard that was watching you are the 3 that you met.
The main thing is they were all like,
I think they were all law mages, right?
Yeah,
Except for the third guy.
except for the
Who
third
was-
guy. You have no
I don't
idea
think
what
he-
the third guy was. He did have a law mage ring.
Yeah, he wasn't a law mage, but he had a lot of like powerful magic and stuff on him.
Yeah,
too. So,
and he
it
had a
might have been
house
high
ring.
like a high level.
yeah. So I mean, they were already law mages, which means that we'd already have issues getting past them, even if we tried to go in tonight. Because I mean, those guys see through shit, so you can't use invisibility, you can't use disguise self, right? They're gonna just see through all that.
What do you think that gnome was doing here?
Stealing
Casing the
something.
joint.
Well, I guess it's probably fine that we're not going to steal it then. Let's go home.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head back home. It's getting a little late in the evening. And walk in. You do find Hadrian there. And as you guys are settling in for whatever you're going to do, I think we are going to take our break. So we will be back shortly, everyone. We'll see you soon. And we will pick up where we left off. And we're back. We left off with you guys having returned to Chateau Breton, seeing Hadrian there. So late in the evening, it's about 11 p.m., 12 p.m. at this point. If you guys are doing anything before you'd like to take a long rest, now would be the chance.
I think we should try to come up with a plan.
Actually, sit down and talk about what our next steps are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right.
You
We
guys
have
gather in the lounge.
Yeah, so we
Each
all sit
sitting in
around
the-
there.
in
Yeah,
the
what Sora says,
chairs.
I think we should discuss a plan, and Addis agrees. And so we get everybody together, sit in chairs, and I'll sit there and I'll go, okay. First off, we have a big difference of opinion about what we should do, what our objective with this ring should be. Right? I think before we can come up with any kind of plan, we need to decide what it is we want to do with this ring. There seem to be two thoughts. One is to leave it in the museum and shore it up with protection, or to take it for ourselves. Now, I personally don't like the idea of stealing anything, and I was very much against the idea of a heist when it was first proposed. As time went on, and it seemed like some people were leaning towards it, I thought, okay, I'll be flexible and I'll try to help. But it seems like it's still pretty evenly divided. So I don't have a particular opinion about what the right choice is personally, but yes, what do you all think? Do you think we can come up with a middle ground or some other solution? Or like, I guess the first question is the museum safe from Godric?
No.
Okay.
Just
Why
instantly.
not?
Because the entire city of Versailles was not safe from Godric. And no
Right.
law mages were safe from Godric. There were 3 on duty. They could bring 20. You saw how fast he erased the ones who attacked the caravan.
Okay.
If he wants that ring and he knows it is there, he will get it. The one advantage we might have is moving it away from the obvious fucking place of being on Alwyn's sarcophagi. We don't know that Godric can spy on us like Jill can.
Well,
He
why
might
don't we-
be able to, but I have no
But
evidence.
we're going to. But even if we move it, right, he's gonna see us at the.
Why would
ball
we
or whatever,
wear
right?
it on ourselves? That would be
No,
more.
I'm not.
Yeah.
He might have some sort of a magic that would allow him to, like, I don't know, command
yeah.
us to tell him, or
Sure, but I mean,
That assumes he knows that we had anything to do with it.
exactly. It's also. Look, I appreciate, Addis, your faith in the law enforcement of the city to guard the museum. I have obviously much less faith in them. I don't think they're all bad people, right? Some of them are clearly just doing their jobs. I wasn't advocating, like, go in, murder all of them, take the thing, and leave. It's just that between Jill, the Ameresians, the gnomes we've seen, someone is going after that ring. And I don't care. At this point, the only players I can think of who would get a hold of it are ones who I would much rather not have a hold of it. And I'm sorry, but I also feel a bit of personal responsibility for this fucking shit, because part of Alduin's whole rah stab the person who made the sword, that's my fucking fault. So, like, I didn't want it to get further, And I know it's out there to go in and take it into our own hands, but like the degree of just ennui in this group overall, like everyone is just so ready to be like, we can't do it. I don't know who else will at certain points.
I'm not ready to say I can't do it. I'm ready to say I don't want Godric showing up and killing me. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to put all of our faith in the law enforcement. Right? I'm to be clear, I don't fucking trust them, and I don't think we should be relying entirely on them. I also think it's a fucking stupid idea to not use them at all and to like actively antagonize them.
You don't act. So the thing is, actively antagonizing them requires them being on alert. So now, if we take it, we're actively antagonizing them. But if we hadn't put them on alert, that wouldn't have been the case.
Hold on. If we get away with the theft, they're gonna think it was the gnome.
A gnome. He's not been described.
Not yet.
Which-
Tomorrow
which-
they're
which-
going down to
which-
describe it.
Tomorrow we can go and describe him.
If we get away with it without anyone seeing us, they're gonna think it was the gnome.
I
Maybe.
told them in the room. I didn't tell them. They don't know exactly
That's
what
true.
we're going for, right?
And you've built up some credibility with them.
As long as I'm not there on the day and you guys manage to find some at least decent disguises, non-magical, which you can do, there's still a chance to try and go and steal this thing. I was trying to go in and basically just verify whether it was there or
yeah.
not.
Okay,
I thought
okay.
that was our goal.
No,
right?
I'm sorry. We all should have communicated better. I thought that it was
Yeah.
when you went in, I assumed that you were being a distraction. I made assumptions. I apologize for them. I'm not.
To be fair, I was trying to be a distraction up until the point I realized they would let me go see it. At which point I was like, "Oh, I should just go and see it."
Okay, yeah. So we should really get some sort of random like. Have you ever like this sort of like these slabs you can hold or wear next to your ears that allow you to communicate with each other over long distances, something like that?
Those, bashing rocks. Yeah, those are great.
Sure.
Yeah, you write a message on it and then you smash the stone slab into someone else's face.
And then they can look at it in the mirror and okay, got it.
They're called
Okay.
eye rocks.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can throw
Right.
you can throw them long distance. So you can, if sometimes you have to like get
Well,
additional tech, but
You can throw them long distance. I think Wistora might have some trouble conveying a message over more than
Well,
5
no.
feet.
there's a sling attachment that you can purchase.
I don't-
It's still not sounding terribly practical.
Anyway, the point is, if we can go
What?
describe this gnome, I also have. So here's the other thing. I have a sneaking suspicion that these gnomes are a group of some kind, or maybe because he didn't look like the one that Wistora pointed out. I don't think. I mean, it's
You
dark, but-
only saw like a jacket. That's it.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, looking at the museum's facilities, I wouldn't try to break in there alone. And I'm actually, for all of my meanness, I'm pretty good at thievery and sneakery.
Or maybe
Um,
he's not the smartest. Thought he could get an easy score with just 3 law mages around.
I suppose that's possible, but all I'm
I
saying
would
is,
say that's less likely though.
yeah. But if we wait till
He's
tomorrow,
being cautious.
go to the
because-
office, I might just chill while you all are doing that and see if I happen to get contacted by any gnomish parties of interest telling me to stay off their turf or something like that. I don't know, right? But it's we do have to come
It is the sort of thing where it's like, would it maybe make sense if Wishora and I went to communicate this information and you guys basically just tried to go in during the day? I mean,
I don't think we can take it during the day. There's too many people around.
no. I mean, like, just do another canvas.
Oh.
See if you guys can figure out a better idea of like how many guards, any sort of like better from the inside.
Entrances, exits.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
that's a
how
good
you're
idea.
gonna get in, Adrian, because they probably know your shit. I mean, they know your description, not your.
I
Like, they
will
don't know
say
you exactly.
that law mage, like even before anything happened, that guy was giving me a real stink eye. Like I get the feeling that
You
Jill,
think everyone's giving you this
So
stink eye
maybe-
lately.
Me and Mag.
But
not
also,
go.
he vaguely matches the description of his brother.
Godric. Yeah, that's true. Black leather. You know what? I don't have the trench coat anymore. Okay, so let me just You get into character.
But
I'll
like
have to-
maybe put like a fake mustache on, frizz up your hair a little bit, you know.
Or maybe me and Magnar go.
That might
Yeah.
also be a decent idea. Is just you guys go and then
Yeah.
We can just do the tourist thing. Or the
he's
Stolen thing.
unrecognizable. I don't know who this is. Where'd he go?
I
me
am
and-
looking for Sarah Connor.
We need to all buy fake mustaches and then just
I don't
I-
need one.
We could also so less reputable, like more reputable
Word
sources
on
might
your
not have
phone.
these, but on the other hand, glass cutters.
Speaking of cutting, like getting through the glass is one thing. Getting that bloody ring off.
Yeah, that's actually a good point too. Yeah, the ring was like I couldn't see any seams. I couldn't see any way. It might be tied into the enchantment, or
What
like it might be a
enchantment?
magical thing. There's some sort of enchantment on the entire sarcophagus. I didn't identify it, so I don't know. But he was telling me that there's like
You know, I
Oh,
recall it
complicated
being
enchantments.
exquisitely carved.
Yeah.
Like
It was, yeah,
like super realistically carved.
yeah.
Maybe we
Like,
need
almost
to
like it's
summon
alive.
Aldwin's ghost.
I'm just wondering, given I couldn't see a seam on the
How are
ring.
you going to do a stealth mission if you summon a vengeful ghost to fight him? He has a sword, by the way.
I
and
wasn't
steal
saying
a
to
ring.
fight him. I was saying as a distraction. We set the law mages off
You
after
saw-
him with their dog, and we sort of play music in the background.
And then you run through a bunch of series of doorways, and then you seem to be going in different elaborate directions as the law mages chase you.
I'm really glad we're on the same page finally, Alice.
I think
Yeah.
that even if should we break in, that ring is carved into the sarcophagus.
Break off the finger.
Yeah.
Break it's not on it. Is it on a finger?
It's on his finger.
Wait,
Yeah.
but Magnar could like
is it-
chisel.
Is
or
it
something,
carved
right?
into like the actual
You-
face of the sarcophagus, Frosty, or is it like
It's a 3D relief,
bold?
so
Is it really good? Is it
It's like
relief?
it's like his finger. It's like a
Yeah, yeah,
finger like
the-
that with like the ring on. it.
There's a 3D finger with the ring and 3D hands holding a 3D sword, so we could just break them off. Like if
Yeah, it's as if you
If-
took
if-
a person and they were just laying on the lid.
And like
yeah,
you
okay.
just
modeled
turned them into
flat, I
stone.
guess.
Yeah, and turn them into stone.
So
It's almost like he might be real.
Can somebody detect
Whoa.
faults on the stone just before we, in case he's like a real person petrified by a Medusa, just in case. But anyway, so yeah, we should buy and two different people have to do this: glass cutters tools and stone carvers tools to get in there
Well,
if
so
we're going to try.
here's the thing. What were the actual defenses of this place from the outside?
It had so I did see this while I was climbing, right? The windows and doors seemed alarmed, and there were some gargoyles that seemed like they would activate if the alarms were triggered. Having said that, the windows, Frosty, from what I got a nat 20 on that Arcana, so they did not seem to have any evocation magic of some kind. Like
No.
if you broke in a window, it's not like it would explode. It would activate the gargoyles, but technically speaking, if you got in and got out fast enough, it would be doable, I think. You just have to make a really good, clear incision, and you wouldn't want it to make much
So how-
noise.
So
So
how would
you
we
break
draw
in
the
really
guards
fast.
away?
You break in really fast, and then you very carefully chisel a hand.
No,
That
you
might take a
no,
while.
no, you don't carefully do it. You break the fucking thing off and you run with it. Like, if the ring is missing, if someone broke in, it's not gonna matter how dainty the cut is on the hand, right?
What if it can be broken?
Then we cut our losses and run, I suppose. I mean, that's the only way
Maybe
I can
we should-
think of to get.
Magnar, you should look at it tomorrow and try to discern if you can break it.
That's
Yeah,
a great
try-
idea.
Good idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good
So,
idea.
Right,
so,
that I can take a look
so
at. Yeah.
Magna, you go to the museum and see if how easy it would be to break off the ring and the blade.
I'll go with it.
I will go as the shady character and buy glass cutters tools and stone carvers tools for no reason.
Because you're already wanted, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. I will also buy a false mustache.
Have you also
good
maybe
one.
buy like a disguise kit? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe buy some maybe buy some caltrops.
Okay.
Decent to drop on a chase.
Yeah, it's true.
And on the
Ooh.
topic of like what do we do with the guards, by the way, with Stora, I don't know if you have any ideas on how to handle guards, but magic might not work on them. However, I did get recommended the Dead Languages Society at the Bloom Theater. We could hire some actors to distract the guards.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Do we really want to get third-party people in on our plan? It would have to be. We'd have to lie to them about.
Yeah,
why
yeah,
we're
of
hiring.
course. I mean, but you could just hire them to do a show at the time of the break-in, just like off on the side. Just
Yeah.
the-
Outside, just do a flash mob.
I think you would have to do something like that.
yeah, the tragedy of the theft
Yeah.
of the ring. Don't call it that. It's too obvious.
something that just sort of draws the attention of the guards, makes them come outside, and allows the
What about fireworks?
I mean, if you want to buy some illegal fireworks while you're buying all this other illegal shit,
I will try
Why
to do
not?
that. So illegal fireworks, caltrops. I'll buy a grappling hook just in case. Also, I will have to remember next time that
maybe buy a bat costume. Yeah.
I will buy a bat mask, and I have to remember that my divine abilities let me get advantage on athletics checks because I forgot that entire fucking time, and I really should have remembered that.
Do you need some extra money, by the way? Because if you're buying all this stuff, do you have enough?
I have 550 gold in my person. If you want to, I mean,
Okay.
I will give you back whatever you have, like just in case. I hope it doesn't cost that much, but this is Emery's. What the fuck do I know?
You should be okay. I don't actually have that. I only have 300, so
All
I
right,
don't know how much
so-
it's gonna actually help.
So I think we have a plan. Okay, so the plan is Magna and Garth examine the cuttability of the stone. Addis and Restora go to the society and report a suspicious gnome. I go and be the actual suspicious person buying all of the suspicious things with different false mustaches in each place. And we get back here, and that night, we go to the Bloom Theater and hire people to put on an outdoor show that'll make a lot of noise, and we figure out a way to cut the glass, break in, take it, and leave.
Hear me out. What if when you're buying the suspicious stuff, you go in and you put it you make a big deal of it being like, I come to serve my illustrious lord Gilles de Rais to buy wonderful machinations for his sex dungeon.
You know what? I have been working on my Gilles de Rais impression. Hold on. And he's gonna. Okay. Like slicks his hair back a bit.
I really hope this is the time that Jill turns the turns the thing on.
My illustrious master, Gilles de Rais, has sent me to gather supplies for his absolutely legitimate dungeon that is meant for holding criminals and not sexual exploits. Please do not tell anyone of this, or else the Inquisitors shall come down upon you. That was
Hey.
Mickey Mouse at the end, I'm sorry. But...
That's the Mickey Mouse bit.
Okay, I have to mute for a second. I just made myself laugh too much.
I think that's a plan. I think we should include that bit as part of the plan.
I will disguise myself as Gilles de Rais breaking into the museum.
Don't do that.
No.
Okay.
It'd be funny though.
Too far.
It'd be
Right,
funny.
so with me and Garth doing a brief recon. That's what I got out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main things were like guards, entrances, and the statue. If you could like break the ring off. Also, if you go and the ring's gone, we're fucked. So keep checking it, I guess.
I don't know much about magic. They said the sarcophagus is magic.
Yeah,
Would that affect the breakability of it?
100%. Yeah, magic items are typically harder to break than normal.
So I need a
Okay.
+1 stone chisel. Actually, Magna for the break-in.
Well, I mean, it
if I
might
buy a
be
stone
unbreakable.
chisel,
We don't know.
but just in case it needs that for Magna,
Yeah.
rather than
This
enchant my
might-
sword, give your blessing to the chisel that I'm going to buy. The chisel and the pickaxe.
That's
A magic
terrifying.
chisel.
Right, well,
Magic
make
chisel.
sure when you're shopping for chisels, you get a bloody good one. Yes.
I
A
cannot
magic-
promise it will be a chisel constructed of dreams and promises.
No,
But-
no, just don't get like the cheapest, crappiest chisel you can find. Get a like decently crafted one with a wooden handle that's properly like
Laminated.
connected
Make
to its
sure
blade.
it says like made in Emery's, not like made in Ulda.
Well, arm stand, ideally, but you know.
Okay, we're veering into very dangerous territory here. I think we should all take a long rest before the fumes get to our head, and we will do this tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
All right.
Kill him before he spreads.
Are you guys all settling in for your long rest?
I do
Yes.
believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys will recover everything. Don't make any adjustments though. As
Except our sanity.
you guys settle in
Sorry,
for the
don't-
long rest,
Don't make adjustments.
don't.
Okay.
And the next few days, as you wake, go by in a strange blur. You can't seem to focus or recall what you were supposed to do. The heist goes well. You steal the ring. You sort of spend most of your time around town looking and investigating various things before going to the party on the 15th. Party's lively and fun till it gets interrupted by Godric.
Oh.
During the party, a horrible fight breaks out. The next thing you know, guys are in the garden outside.
Oh shit!
You've been fighting Godric. The queen lays dead in the fountain waters. Magnar impaled on one of the large poles that lines the on one of the stone sort of railway walks, completely pierced through by its broken, shattered bits of stone, dangling his back through it, piercing through his chest and stomach. Addis, you're crumbled on your knees, barely holding yourself up on the stairs. Wistora, you've been slammed into the park, broken stones around you, blood coughing out of your mouth, injuries and scorch marks from blasts of magic. Garth, you're on the opposite side, barely holding yourself up on the railing. Bow snapped. Barry, a pile of ash on the ground. As you guys look forward, you see Hadrian dead, gasping his last breaths of air before the life fades from his body, barely alive, blood pooling from his mouth beneath the claw of an enormous dragon of reds and blues, lightning and flame crackling across its body, erupting, scorching like little embers and wafts of flame burning around its body. Its glowing blue eyes standing smashed through the large glass atrium, holding Hadrian down on the ground. Addis, you recognize that dragon. You saw it before. It leveled that temple. You don't know, you don't remember where it came from. You thought the temple was empty. And here it is again. Somehow, you thought it had gone, it had left, gone to some other ends of the earth. You guys can see Godric's 4 rings all dimmed as he plucks the green ring from Hadrian.
Do I get any last words?
Sitting
Nope. Okay. I'm just understood.
in a chair at the end of the table, you see the elderly woman that read your prophecies and fortunes, just sitting, watching the whole thing, as the image of her fades into a beautiful woman, porcelain white skin, parts of her body forged from metal, seamlessly moved with the porcelain-like flesh. Godric says, "The battle is lost and won. What's fair is foul and foul is fair. And what bloody man is this who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my ends, as he grabs Hadrian by the hair and kind of lifts Hadrian's head up. Brave brother, worthy to be rebel, for to that, this damned quarrel you came into smiling, had named thee friend. He looks to the woman and says he deserves that name. He disdained fortune and brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution like valor's minion carved out his passage, till he faced this slave. He was assisted by you, most disloyal traitor. Our home had given you one face, and yet now you sit and make yourself another. Where hast thou been, sister? I now serve the gods. It is not my place to question them, but to guide. You are nothing and will be stopped. It's like, thou slave, thou wretch, thou coward, thou little valiant, great in villainy, thou ever strong upon the visitors at your side, that you would name fortune's champion, but you yourself never fight. So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They lack of honor both. Therefore be double damned. I dare thee swear thou art honest, as he runs his sword through her, and you see her skin crack and break and crumble, and you see stars in the sky begin to start to rain down. As the dragon roars, what do each of you do?
Do I have any
Yeah.
words, or am I just dead? Okay.
Yeah. You're just at 0 HP.
Okay.
And dying. Failed your last death save. Dying.
Yeah, I got it. I yeah, I'll wait till everyone else goes, actually, as I'm guessing for Red.
Well, I think I'm rather deader than that. I'm impaled.
Magnar's
Yeah,
last words. Oh dear.
You've
I've
got
been
that last
impaled."
bit of life clinging you as the vision is fading. But you can see Addis in the stairs next to you as you're kind of reaching for him, as if begging for help.
Addis is gonna run over and try and heal Magnar.
Okay.
Pour a healing potion.
Bubbles out of his chest.
Yep.
Try and like pull him off and like
You're
apply pressure
Magnar,
and give him
but
potion.
are you saying anything to him?
Oh!
You're not. You can't die till you fucking hit someone with the fucking mace.
I nearly did.
You didn't. You tried, but you really didn't. You have to still hit. Come on.
Oh,
You
Should
can
have
see
been
the
weird.
stayed in
burning.
the
You still
library.
haven't.
You guys can see the burning Winter Palace. Its large white walls, the long balcony that you guys fell off and jumped off of. You hear the screams of people inside and the gnarl of zombies.
I will pull up my spear and attempt to make my way towards Godric.
Just kind of pull your spear out, using it as a crutch,
Yeah.
kind of stumbling over.
As he's plucking the ring off of my hand, as he's trying, I sort of clench and grab his hand and just like look at him right in the face and just,
Thou should have joined me, brother.
if thou couldst, dear brother, cast thy power upon this land and purge her disease that did make both of us what we are today, I should applaud thee to the very echo, but 'twould leave nothing but a burning shell, a ruined heap, no life to mourn or cheer, or grieve, and I pity you who will be the last soul to cry for death and hear no reprieve. And I feel like I just fall after that.
All this land could wage the fight, and I will give rise to sorrow and heed its voice. In my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. And dearest brother, I profess to be no less than I seem, and will serve this world truly that put in me its trust. and say to gods who fear judgment to fight when I cannot choose and to eat no fish. Eo's will needs must you lay your heart. And against his fury and unmatched force, with mirth and laughter, let the old rivals come.
I
At
spit. I spit in his face. I'm gonna die.
Garth, what do you do?
I will attempt to raise my spear. Pointing
As you
at
raise your
Godric.
spear and throw it at him, he shifts to the side. It says,
I have
"It
not
was
given
not
up
meant to
yet.
be this. Should have called me friend, we could have risen and given and tossed down the heavens. Thy truer
Yo.
purpose you would know not. Farewell." And
Yo,
launches a
which-
blast at
Oof.
Astor, as you see him just blast with an Eldritch Blast Garth and kill him, what do you do? Wistora?
I'm thinking.
Okay, sorry. Looked like you had maybe dozed off for a second.
She's giving the trademark Restora look, the condescension
You know what?
/ disapproval.
You know what? I kind of like that. I'm gonna look at Godric as if I'm disappointed in him. Attack him.
You
That-
need to make a wisdom save for such
just-
damage.
I'm just disappointed. No,
The
kind of like
withering look.
kind of like that, that all of this has come to pass because of him. That I'm just disappointed that he would use his power in such a way. And I'm just gonna sit there and watch him as I
Okay.
die.
Well, you're holding on. You're not quite dying. Most of the party
Well,
has.
then, yeah,
but
no, I'll just sit there and I'll watch him.
he takes the ring and looks at the crumbling woman. Looks to all of you. And the dragon starts to fade away, evaporating, much like the dragon that attacked Versailles did. And as it clicks, that's why you couldn't see it when you woke up. As Godric vanishes, you all wake up in the chateau, feeling sore, feeling your wounds.
I go downstairs. Sort of like feeling at the finger where the ring was in the dream. And after a bit of me say, all right. Group meeting. And I go into the lounge.
I'll head down. Checking my chest before I.
It hurts like a pain you have never felt before, but it's fine. No scars, no marks.
I don't want to leave my room. That sucked. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit.
You're just laying there, Barry.
Yeah.
Barry,
Is Barry here?
Barry's just sleeping peacefully.
Okay.
He's chewing on one of the pillows that he has stolen from you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I don't want to leave for a little bit.
I'm,
I've died twice now.
I'm gonna look at Magnar as he comes down and just, you saw that too, right?
Oh yes, yes. Rather, yes. Rather viscerally saw my own death.
Yeah.
And as you guys are waking, the memory of what happened over the 12 days until the party just slips and fades from your mind, much like a dream that you can't quite hold on to. But the end lingers and stays with you. You still feel it.
Well,
You can
seems-
taste the blood in each of your mouths.
Oh,
reminds me of home. It felt like a warning of the future.
yes. Yeah.
Where is everybody? Wistora? Addis?
Addison was sorry to
Addis
hear
is
them shouting.
currently Addis is currently in his room. He is curled up in a corner, tucked into a little rock.
Okay, I'm gonna go to each of the rooms
No,
and knock on the door.
Wisora is it's actually, I'm gonna say she's not in a room. She got up earlier and she's taking a hot bath.
Okay.
Okay,
So you bang, don't hear a response from Wastora. You knock and bang on Garth's door.
Garth,
Yeah.
listen, we all have to talk. Are you gonna come or not?
Is it safe?
I promise you will be safe here.
I'll be out in a minute.
Okay.
As you
I'm gonna-
go and knock on Addis, will you make a wisdom save?
Yep.
A
14.
terrible thundering banging starts to slam on your door.
I feel like Addis immediately like goes into a rage, but it's a panic
Mhm.
where it's just like the fire is like bursting
Just here.
uncontrollably out of him.
And you just like, unfortunately, Hadrian chooses his lowest voice. He's like, Addis, wake up.
As it's just
We-
distorted.
He is going to open the door and just punch whatever's on the other.
All right.
Make an attack roll.
You're probably reckless, so advantage.
100%. Yeah, it's
Miss.
still only a 16. Yeah.
As Hadrian just like, you see just like the door burst open, he just like sort of does the Matrix. It's like, Addis, it's okay. It's just me. Oh, it's just Magna. Hi, we all have to talk.
You kind of start to come out of it, Addis.
We just need to meet downstairs. We have to discuss what that means.
little gout of flame bursts out.
I'm busy.
Okay, we'll leave you to pears and parsnips for another 15 minutes, but then we really do need to meet downstairs.
Cool.
Addis,
As
like,
Addis goes
very
back into his
awkwardly-
room, can you share a little bit about what Addis is thinking about? What he's doing while they wait and talk?
Addis pulls out a piece of black rock. He has this sort of bit of a shard of rock that's like warm to the touch. It's the sort of last remaining piece he has of his past, of his family, of anything, because that dragon took everything from him. And he had sort of tried to convince himself that maybe it was just, maybe it disappeared because it just decided to die or fly to the moon, or maybe it decided that it didn't want to be a bad dragon and it wanted to go off and be good and save puppies. Like the sort of realization of like, oh shit, not only is this thing still killing people, and I just saw it kill, the other people in this party, but also Godric seems to be the one who can summon it, implying, or maybe like, did Godric do it to him all the way back when, right? And it makes Addis just feel small again. And
Make a history
even
check.
though yeah, he's always had this sort of, he's always sort of had this goal of like, he always wants to, right, he might fail, he might get hurt, but right, he'll keep pushing on through. But every time he comes across these dragons that remind him of the past, he just wants to run, and he feels like such a coward for it. That's a 13.
So you recall the temple that you were in you hadn't thought of it at the time, but you recall these circular, they looked like stars painted on the walls of some of the ruin that you were exploring. And there was 5 of them. And from what you can recall, these 5 stars were a key to the mother of dragons. And at the time, when you had been kind of piecing together this puzzle, trying to figure out what was going on, you had thought you had heard someone else in that temple, but there was never anyone there. It was just what seemed haunted. But as you were trying to piece it together and open one of the last doors and kind of pushing on these, that's when everything erupted. And initially, you had thought you're panicking with the dragon, but you had woken up whatever that mother of dragons was, the queen dragon. And now you're kind of wondering if maybe something else might have been going on, or if it means something else. The colors that those stars were match the colors of the 5 rings. The 25 creatures that were a blend of the 5 colors of dragons depicted on the walls. It's all, your mind kind of races over the possibilities and the fear of what that means.
After another, like, probably 10 minutes or so, Addis would come down to join the rest of the group, holding pears and parsnips, pretending that he had been just sort of reading that the whole time.
All right. What story?
Yes, when
As-
well, you can go ahead. I was gonna.
as you're relaxing in the bath, what are you doing and thinking about?
Mostly it's probably like like I'm dealing with a headache. I'm more annoyed and frustrated with these sort of dreams than anything else. So I'm mostly just trying to relax and just get it all out of my head.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for everyone sort of pacing back and forth in front of the lounge fireplace, like hands behind my back.
Well, when I hear Hadrian running around yelling, I'll show up shortly thereafter.
Okay.
And I'll bring a tray with me with like hot tea or whatever other drinks people might like.
Whilst all of
in the kitchen.
that was going on upstairs, Magna was frantically trying to scribble down some notes.
Okay. What are you trying to
As
scribble
things-
down?
Well, it depends how foggy that time is going to be. But with
Yeah. Let me know what you're
Try-
trying to remember, and we'll do some rolls.
let's see. That start with the easy ones. That Hadrian was wearing the ring. And
Hadrian was not wearing the ring; he was clutching it in his hand.
clutching it. Okay, that's good to know. That we had successfully completed the heist.
Make a history check at disadvantage. See if you can remember anything about the heist.
Okay. History.
Want to use inspiration? Make this straight.
Is that what happens if I do that?
Yep.
Yes, I would use inspiration to make it straight.
Okay.
16, and
Hero
I
point.
will throw a hero point at it, which is +2, so 16, 18.
You recall stealing the ring.
Great.
And
Okay.
killing a group of gnomes.
Group of gnomes. Okay.
You can't remember how many. 5 or 6, maybe 4, maybe 7. It's hard to remember the exact number.
Okay.
a fight on the roof of the museum and in the museum. But you did successfully pull it off. And you faintly recall learning of a third party interested in the ring. You can't remember. Someone wanted it. Someone else wanted it and refusing to give it over.
Do I remember at that point where we had the ring, if it was just the ring, if it appeared to like we were just like passing a hand around that, like a stone hand?
No, it was just the ring.
Just the ring.
Anything about the sword? Sorry.
Well, I wouldn't. No, I don't think I would have thought to think back for that. But I would have been obsessed with
Mhm.
thinking about the sarcophagus and if I remember breaking it, smashing it, doing anything to it.
Make another history check at disadvantage.
Okay, this one is disadvantage. 17.
You don't recall needing the chisel.
Might be
You
easier than we
don't
thought.
remember how you got it. Did you? Maybe you took it off the gnomes?
Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds right. You took it off the gnomes.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's about all you can remember.
Okay, that's good. I've got some notes.
Is everyone here, or are we still
At this
amongst
point,
us?
yes.
So you all saw that last night.
Yeah, I was just scribbling down some of my thoughts. They're all going a bit foggy. I don't know if anyone remembers better than I do, but I've got some of it down, I think.
Just to check, we're all talking about the Barry running around. No, we're not.
No, the dragon. We're talking about the dragon. Yeah, I mean,
The dragon.
I did
barely
see
turned to ash,
Barry
being
running around
impaled.
with cotton candy hair and doing a burlesque dance, but that's a different story.
Okay, cool.
So listen, he's like pacing back and forth. You can see he really fucking like agitated. I recently, I don't know how much I've told it. I lifted the veil. I saw a hand, and I was tripping fucking balls, and I got many of my memories back. I saw what happened to Ishgard. I saw what Godric and I saw. It's pacing, like, and it was horrible. And I brought him here to this realm because it was horrible. But I also remember why I regretted that, and I can't fucking reconcile the two things, but we have to stop him. And I don't know if that dream was a warning or prophetic vision, or just the fact that we are sleep deprived and we're thinking about the ring and had too many mushrooms for dinner. I don't know, but
Well,
I
you
don't
shared
think I'd
far
be-
too many details just towards the end there that's lined up with.
Also, the physical. I don't know about you guys. I feel like I literally
I feel
got
like shit.
beaten up.
Oh, yeah, it's right. Yeah, I feel like I've been
Point is,
run through by a. Anyway.
Have we considered looking up to the lady in the sky and being like, I don't know, explanation, please?
they are the gods. They won't give that. They look down. This is why I understand my
according to
brother.
what I didn't think the gods could die, but we just saw her get stabbed.
Was that
so
a god or a servant? We don't know.
I think they said something about being a servant.
She looked mechanical.
She looked like one of my friends from Ishgard.
Oh, I forgot.
When you say that, do you mean friends sarcastically or like actual friends?
No, actually, I mean, in Ishgard, we
Okay.
it felt like a good question. Like, you know.
No, it is a good question, and I acknowledge that usually when I'm sarcastic, it can be difficult to tell. But no. I mean friends, like actual friends. I know it's hard to believe. I had friends, and
Did you recognize her?
did I recognize her, Frosty?
No.
No, I didn't. But listen. My brother's heart beats with the flames of vengeance, and so does mine. But at the same time, I know that he would tear the entire world down to see that thirst slated, and I know that in the end, the reason I broke, and am still broken, is that we can't... If the gods themselves are the responsible party for a tragedy, the only answer is apocalypse or capitulation. And as fucking angry as it makes me, as much as I have trouble with authority, I would rather see this world ruled by shitty gods than burn. And I feel like what we saw in the previous dream, what we saw there, was a burning by my brother. We can't let him get that ring. We can't let him win.
I think we all agree on that.
Wistar, it looked like you had something to say. Like I saw you opening your mouth a little bit. So
Sorry, I was rambling, guys. I
Um,
have feelings.
it was back to the discussion about that woman that was seen in the dream. All I was going to say was that she did say something about serving somebody. Godric, to me, seemed to be upset with her.
I may have played chess with her in the past.
He called her sister. He said, she is from our home. She's from Godric and mine's home. She's from Ishgard.
Right, and he was he was upset that she had been serving the gods since then, I think.
Chess lady, would you like to explain any of this?
If she was, I think she already would have.
As the
I
Azik
think we're
says,
supposed to work it out from.
I'm just gonna yell at this guy, sister. I think Northern Night. Do I have a sister?
Maybe she'll appreciate this. Addis will find like there's probably a chessboard in this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
It's
gonna find a
old, it's
chessboard,
beaten up, but yeah.
Clear off all the other pieces, and from way back when, God, I can't. I think I got it.
Get a
I
rook.
got it from. I have a rook and I have a pawn,
Mm.
and a knight as well. I'm specifically going to put the pawn onto the chessboard.
Mm-hmm. Make a religion check.
$24.
The pawn slides forward one space.
That's not fucking useful.
Wait, no, it's telling us something.
Where are you going with this?
I can't play chess.
Well,
Make an insight check. Addis. Yeah.
Guys, it's wizard chess. I made wizard chess.
I look around at all of them and I will pull out my dream sword and just say, listen.
Okay. That's not how. I know that's not how we play chess.
And just say, listen, I don't know if I have a better or worse idea of who I am than I did before I lifted that veil. I don't know if the oath I swore to the fucking plate armored multi-winged god of war still holds, but I will say all to you here now that I, in penance for what I have done, and in need of this world to continue existing, I will fucking fight this man by any means necessary. and I hope you'll join me. And I'll kind of like take the sword, make a cut on my palm, and just like chuck some of the blood into the fire. And just
What?
looks
Addis
up.
will pick up. Addis will pick up the pawn and chuck it into the fire.
I just look up at this guy. Mogus, I don't know if you're watching still or if you even give a shit, but this fight has just gotten a lot more serious.
Uh, do you guys have anything else that you want to say, or anything else that you're doing in response to this, or anything that you're trying to figure out? I mean,
After chucking it into the fire, Addis is gonna go be like, actually, I really want that chess piece back.
So
I was
scrambling.
going to say, just because it moves the square, I think you're maybe giving up on that a bit prematurely.
No. I was trying to do it as like a symbol of like I'm with you, and then no one else did it, so I felt like maybe it's just a waste of a chess piece.
Right,
I really
I-
appreciate the solidarity. It's okay. Like,
it's not burnt at all.
There was some symbolism there that I wasn't quite picking up on.
You're also
I
a
think you-
cleric. Minor, make an insight check.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Maybe identify it. Maybe it's indestructible. Maybe we can use it in the bottle to rig
Nice.
for
chisel.
weird.
We chisel the hand with the pawn.
19. So
Wait,
thinking
no,
about
we
it,
we can remove it with.
if
Wow.
Addis was praying in this way and has been doing, Addis has been doing these rituals like with the coins and stuff like that, and it has helped, or given guidance from time to time. It could very symbolically represent a god moving pawns into place for something. All the pieces weren't revealed, you know, everything wasn't there, but you definitely get the impression that it was a god trying to acknowledge that they are trying to move you where they need you.
You know, we've often thought we were pawns in all of this, and that we were being moved around by the gods, and I think that was a fairly direct message to say that yes, the pieces are being moved. We are one of the pieces,
We're definitely pawns in all of this.
and whatever that was we just experienced was a very deliberate attempt to move us from where we shouldn't be to where we should be.
But this is the thing. I don't trust the gods at all. But I trust Godric less. And there's a very good reason for that.
He has God in his name.
Yes. Also, he wears a bad hat. But more importantly, I know that rage. I know what I would do if I had his power and his capability. I think what I would have done, I don't know anymore. But I'd rather be manipulated by a god than see sort of the heart's desire that I have play out.
Well, I'd also be rather be manipulated by a god than have what we just saw play out. Somewhat selfishly, given that I died.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. How are you feeling?
The
Yeah,
chest wound
to be
doesn't look
honest.
very good on you, by the way.
Yeah, no. You should make sure someone cuts your head off next time.
I'll bear that in
Ma-
mind.
Or maybe like a leg. You look cool with a peg
Right,
leg.
no, see, now, main question, if that's what we're not supposed to do, and I would suggest turning up to the palace with the ring on us would be a very bad idea.
Well, obviously.
Is it?
I am.
If we don't bring it, if we don't have a good place to put it, here's the thing: what's to keep him from like just casting a spell to locate it?
What happens if you put it inside a bag of holding?
Addis, do you recall
Ooh.
something that the guy you talked to mentioned about the sarcophagus?
It has a bunch of enchantments on it, right?
But what did they said that because of them, they couldn't do something.
They couldn't analyze it further, but if we remove it from the sarcophagus, that's what I mean.
No,
If
he
we
said something
remove
very
it from-
specific.
Huh?
Yeah.
We could
Make-
remove the hand.
Make an intelligence save.
19?
He said that they couldn't scry or use magic to detect anything on it, meaning neither can Godric.
Yeah.
So-
So,
so
as
if-
long as we keep it with the statue or try and bring the hand with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is if we remove the ring entirely, or if someone else removes the ring entirely,
That's a problem.
unless the enchantment stays on the ring, yeah.
So
Well,
what we need to do is remove the
earlier
hand.
guess, Hadrian, you were right. There are a bunch of gnomes.
But wait, that means also Godric might not know, right? We're not entirely sure he knows where the ring is at
So
all.
Yeah.
wait, I will say
There's-
we're not the. And I will say this as somebody who lived through it and remembers it. The question is, do we want to take the chance that we, who, let's face it, are best described as a bunch of bumbling idiots moving from one task to another,
And a bear.
and the bear, realize the ring is there and Godric doesn't? Or assume if he doesn't know now, he finds out and he can summon Ptolemy Valor in all her destructive potential.
Well, he's not going to summon Ptolemy, right? He's going to summon something worse.
Well,
No, there is nothing worse than Ptolemy.
now look, we had a vision that
The-
showed us a very dark future in which we had the ring and Godric took it. Then we also saw that we took the ring from the gnomes, so we know the gnomes are trying to steal the ring. If we are
On behalf of someone
uh,
else, if I recall rightly.
yeah. Well, we don't know that.
No, I
because-
remember. They were definitely stealing
Oh,
on
they
behalf of
were?
somebody. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember who is the problem. See, I started writing things down before it got foggy.
Do we
Well-
think we could contact
Guys,
these
Westora is trying to say
Well,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think if we know that the ring there cannot be scried, I think there's a good chance Godric doesn't know it. And I think that you're like, oh, we stumbled upon it, but keep in mind, we barely noticed it there. We were at the right place at the right time to even see it.
Also with this whole idea that the gods are influencing us, it could have just been them being like, push.
Yeah, I believe, based off of that conversation, right at this point, I believe that what we're supposed to prevent the ring from being taken from the museum by the gnomes. That is my current supposition.
Question to you, Magna.
Yes.
If we could meet these gnomes and find out who this other person is, what if they're someone who is powerful enough to keep it away from Godric? That's all I really care about. The thing is, Jill is obsessed with Godric. If he knew Godric wanted the ring, he would use it to lure him, and that would be dangerous. But someone else, I don't know, right? What I'm saying is, maybe we work with these gnomes, get the
We could
ring
certainly
far
do with
away
finding
as
out.
possible.
We could certainly do with finding out who their patron is.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that bothers me is I can't see us being daft enough to take the ring there. You had the ring in your hand, but it doesn't mean that we took it there. Well, I guess we did. Oh, it seems.
I
Well, we
Well,
also
We
everything's a bit fuzzy. It could have been you like managed to steal it from Godric at some point, right? Before he could summon it. There's all sorts
We
of
did
different things.
successfully get it from the gnomes,
I am
but it gets a bit. Yeah.
I am unfortunately afraid that I might have been bringing it there for him. I don't know.
I really don't think that you. I mean, I'm just supposing here. Maybe I'm way off. But at this point, if you mean a second ago, you were filled with confidence that we had to stop Godric. So, unless you think that there's some magical control over your mind, I don't think you would have willingly have done that at this point.
I was
Make an
filled with
insight,
one-
Westora.
An 8.
I was gonna say I was filled with confidence we had to stop Godric. Because I said I knew what I would do in his position with his power. And I hate that. And I don't want to. But it is so deep in me. I don't know if I could. If you came to me and you told me you had a chance to throw down the gods, I don't. To get vengeance on. I really don't know anymore.
Okay. I appreciate everything that you've been going through up to this point, but you're going to have to start deciding and stop second guessing yourself. You're constantly filled with self-doubt over what you want or what you think. And you need to decide what it is you want to do, because otherwise you're just gonna be sitting here wishing washing, going back and forth all the time, and it makes you unreliable. I've been doing my best to be as supportive of you as you've gone through this, but I think you need to really seriously think about what it is you actually want and stop putting yourself in this situation.
I'm gonna nod. Walk out of the room. And no idea how I'd go about this, because Nick doesn't know the rituals, but I think Hadrian is gonna try and contact a god. Mogus or Sophitia. I don't know exactly. I think he's just like drops to his knees in confusion and pain and desire to do something and not know what. And
While you're doing that, Magnar, Garth, Addis, and Mastora, are you guys saying anything? Addis did say that there was something worse than Ptolemy. Garth, you seem to just be processing the whole situation. Is there anything that you were going to say?
Not at the moment.
Addis is going to take the pieces that he all dumped off the chessboard and try and set it back up so that, you know, it's the full standard chess board.
Okay.
And then set his extra little pawn that seems to be indestructible on there, which is it's an ivory pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's gonna look at the pawn and tentatively like knock over the opposing king.
Make a religion check.
I'm allowed to do this, right? Like I don't know chess very well, so I just figured I could just you knock the king over and you win, right?
Push something over.
22.
The queen topples over on your side.
He lifts the king back up.
Okay.
He's gonna switch all of the pawns so that all of the ivory pawns are now on the opposite side, working for the like just to see what happens.
Working for the man.
As you kind of arrange that and put
day.
pawns, and you put just out of instinct, kind of put your pieces on the other side. The board cracks like splinters, and the pieces on the other side fall off, and the table collapses.
Right. So
We
don't
need to
switch
do
sides.
chessboard. Don't switch sides. We need to do chessboard.
Like the
Does
chessboard
anybody
is
have
still
checkers?
intact; it's just got cracks
Okay.
running through it. And it
Are
reminds
there-
you, as the cracks are spread through the chessboard, it reminds you of the black ink that covered the land from the dream.
Hmm. Does anybody have any good chess metaphors to ask our magical chessboard?
I think the chessboard already told you what it was trying to say from what Magnar said earlier.
I'm just having fun with this.
Oh,
So who do you think the magical chess god is, by the way?
Tafiti?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think that'd be right. As Restore thinks. As if trying to remember what all the gods' names were. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sophitia.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think. Because I think it's Sophitia that's been talking to us.
Oh. Right. I think we need to find the gnomes and find out a bit
Does
more
anybody
about them.
remember those? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do any of us remember those? When we saw her, she was like an old woman. She was the old woman who like gave us the prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Right. But then she's
But then
I
she
think-
turned into like the clockwork.
the porcelain lady, I think she goes by.
Take
If I remember, she was both when I saw her.
Hmm.
It was never just
Do you-
one.
Do you guys remember the prophecies? Like, would that help us?
Well, I haven't seen any ropes in trees, so
and
I don't think so.
I don't think
Did
mine
you also
has-
have ropes and trees?
I was supposed to
What was
ignore
you?
them.
Apparently, apparently the noose will snap like thunder. So
Yes. Yeah, when I told you mine, you were a bit concerned that I'd see you hanging one day and go, oh no, rope, ignore.
yeah, don't leave me hanging.
Mine ends with a feast of ages. Gets a bit muddled in the middle. Somebody throws daggers at my shield, which is interesting because I didn't have a shield at the time, and now I do, which is about the
Oh,
only
that's
thing
good.
that's like
Oh,
taking us
no.
any step further forward.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Forever. I haven't led many children. I mean, we did meet some children, but I haven't led them through any valleys. The Screams will lead me. I'm not going to think about that one. And then the noose.
Yeah, I'm going to say the prophecies don't seem terribly relevant right now, at least not mine.
Yeah, I mean, if the prophecies are relevant or not relevant, maybe it means we'll survive. I don't know. I don't know how this future stuff works.
You probably have to actually go over the prophecies, but
I think it's important to note that I don't think we can expect any of these prophecies or anything like that to determine our fate as much as it might others, because we seem to be these fated ones. I believe one of the qualities explained to us is that we kind of have greater influence over our own fate.
Yes, or at least we're easier to move around the chessboard.
Well, I think it's important to note that they have to move us around rather than, sort of the fate. We've just sort of naturally pulls us where we're otherwise supposed to go.
and with that, I think we'll call it here tonight as you guys decide
Okay.
what to do. Thank you everyone for
Boy.
tuning into the stream. Thank you guys for once again coming around and playing. It's been great having everyone with us, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you next week.
Oh,